Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys for a special Friday night live where we're going to discuss the live stream. I swear to God, the people that tuned in to see Bobby B, he was here a minute ago, and then I played the intro, and he bolted on us. So,
yeah, the dip.
Maybe he'll be back.
Yeah, he said he was having some technical issues. You know, you people go in your basement and don't realize there's no connection down there because that's where all the brick is. So your Wi-Fi doesn't make it down there. But yeah, so we're going to discuss a couple of things that Chad talked about, the Snowcat and the Thunder Machine. Just get your guys' feelings on that. The name only reveals, and then we'll get into the digital reveals, which I'm pretty happy with most of them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was happy with them. There was a few issues I have on some characters as we go through that. Some sculpt issues that I've noticed.
Well, there's always nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Ryan, what did you think of everything? Just generalize.
I was happy with the name only reveals. Looking at who they're picking, you can start to see what can come a little bit farther down the line. So we're going to get more, bigger bucks, bigger sizes. So I think that's a good thing. So I'm pretty excited to see what we can bring down.
Yeah, that's kind of worrisome in some ways because I really thought they were going to try and go with the buck size of Roadblock and Gung Ho. I know. Serpentor's bigger than both of them. But, man, you get much bigger than that, and you're really starting to get in Super 7 McFarlane size, and I'm not sure how keen I am to that.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get bigger than Serpentor. I think what you might see is like just a little bit bulkier. So it just gives you that little bit of an extra in between for some extra figures down the line.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Like I said, I think, I don't mind that they're different sizes. I don't need all my figures to be the exact same height. I don't think we are in the real world.
Right.
Most people that have seen me go, oh, yeah, well, we're not all the same height now, are we? So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they're doing. I mean, they're just pushing out so much stuff. I don't even know where to begin. I got to look at, what am I going to collect? I got to, drop certain lines. And, there's already been one line that I pretty much dropped. So, that's saving some cash right there.
GI Joe classified definitely hit the bank hard this year with all the drops. It was a busy year.
Oh, yeah. And the Monster Force is just looking at you going, hey, don't forget about me, even though I haven't come out yet.
I don't look forward to it.
Well, I've never dipped into Mythic Legions, so.
Mythic Legions, in my opinion, they're wonderful figures. The sculpt is amazing. The paint is. But because I'm not into mythical creatures and stuff like that, I didn't feel like I had to have every single one of them. There are some that, I look at and I'm like, yeah, this is, you got to have a couple just to know what, know what they are, to know what a real high-end toy is. That really isn't a bad price for what they give you.
Yeah, I got to check them out.
Ryan, do you have any?
I'll save my money for classified. I can get two classified for the price of one of those Mythic Legions. And I'm not knocking Mythic Legions. They are an amazing toy line. It's just that red hole I don't want to go down. It's like Mezco.
No, listen. I was saying this on another, on another stream. It's kind of like people always think if you say you don't collect something or you're not into something, that you're insulting it. And you'll understand this, Ryan. It's like when you said, like, hey, Steve Eisman was the third greatest hockey player of his generation because he was behind Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. You're not saying he was bad. I think that's actually pretty good competition. You're putting him in a pretty good place. So, but let's say hi to the chat really here. A toy kind of mood, Travis. He's probably not here. He posted this a long time ago. If he is, hi Travis. Nice to see you finally came back. Christopher Sandoval. I've seen him bouncing around in other chats a lot. Yo 19 Kilo. I do believe this is one of Bobby's friends, but Bobby's not here, so he'll stick around. We got Faded One
Giggity.
whatever that is. We got Bruce. I've already said I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name. Shaking at 7:30. What's good? Pre-order Scarlet Airborne. 2 divers, 2 troopers. Between Action Force, GI Joe, my pockets are going to be light. Did you get the divers and the troopers when they were $25 at EE or BBTS? Because they made a mistake.
I seen that.
I grabbed a couple just for that.
I didn't capitalize on it.
Yep, I grabbed a couple just because. Damn, I hate when this thing skips.
I hope they honor that.
No, they are already. Like it's
that's awesome.
Right there, yeah. So we got Darth Berkey here, Down South 77. Fat Trid is in the house. Crusty Old Crow. I don't believe I've ever seen you here. Nice to see you here.
What's up, Crow? This is one of our guys.
Nolan is pulling double duty because I also know where Nolan is right now. We got Tony's Figs is in the house. And let's see here. There's like all these people and jumped. Newfie. 4024. I'm trying to hold off to see if Bobby shows up. I mean, he should come back. So we got Todd C, who was in a whole bunch last night or a couple nights ago. Curtis Langford. Don't believe I've ever seen you before. We got channel member Big Bacon is in the house.
Big
David
Bacon.
R. Let's see here. You start to see the same people. H Ford. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you back, man.
Crusty Old Crow said, hey, Aaron.
Crusty Old Crow, question for sake of one. The modular tactical vest that is being shown with the 60th anniversary Desert Soldier. Will we see that carry over to more Joes in the future? Ryan, I'll let you answer that.
Yes. They don't sculpt up something not to reuse it down the road.
Yeah. And that vest is awesome.
I would say we should have 2 more figures come out for the 60th anniversary series. So I wouldn't be surprised if that vest gets used on one of those figures down the road.
And then we got random diorama here. I almost said it. I didn't. I didn't.
I heard it coming out.
It's just so easy because of digital diarrhea.
Right.
And
I was just gonna put a cha after
it. Anyway, Bobby, how are you?
I'm good. I'd update the computer, then the computer wanted me to update the browser, then the browser's updating, and then Norton keeps yelling at me every time I try to do something, and that's what slows everything down. So I keep Xing out of Norton as soon as it pops up, and that's where all the glitch and laggings come from.
The updates always happen at the worst time, and I got to tell you, there are times that I have to reboot my computer for work, look up a manual and then it wants to update, and I can't order parts because I can't open up the manual, and the thing decides to update for 40 minutes, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, I can't close this call out because I got to order parts. So
never convenient timing.
Yeah, it's the worst, man. So anyway, Dreadnok Ryan, if you don't know, he's been on a Toy Kind of Mood all the time. Well, was on a Toy Kind of Mood a lot. Island of Misfits Toys, and all the links to all their channels are in the description. You guys have probably seen Dreadnok Ryan before. I don't see him too much on the lives, but he still pops in and out. Bees Battleground, my nemesis. I thought he was 65 years old. I find out he's like 23 with the deepest voice ever.
I wish. Flip it in 2 weeks. Flip it.
32. Good Lord, man. I'm gonna be 48 in days. Um, everyone knows Bobby B. That is for sure. He gets everything early because he pays scalper prices.
No, I live in the eastern stairwell of the Chinese factory.
I love when he said that.
I don't remember who started that, but it started, and I laugh so hard that every time someone starts talking about it, I'm like, "Yep, I live in the stairwell." So as soon as all the workers go home at the end of the night, I come out and start taking all the new toys off the line.
That's okay because Ryan's the janitor over at Hasbro. He's in a janitor office right now. That's why he has all this.
Nothing wrong with
Everything.
And then we have Arron the Toy Enhancer with is it your wife or girlfriend?
Yes.
This is my wife, co-host. We've been together 15 years. So
This is Toy Enhancer.
yes.
That'd be me.
So
Yes.
Arron, if you haven't followed his channel, go ahead and check it out. I made a comment on Aaron's channel, just saying, hey, you know what, good job. And I think a few weeks later, he was in the live and said, hey, you know what, I kind of followed you back and just wanted to say thank you. And, he's been pushing out content. So, again, we all start off small. We all start off somewhere. If you're a bigger channel, don't shit on the little ones because it'll come back to bite you eventually.
We appreciate all the warm welcome.
So, all right. So let's just get into this. And if anyone is wondering, don't worry. There will still be a 3-hour rant on Monday where I would discuss this. But I figured I want to get some other people's opinions on all of this stuff because they threw a lot of stuff out at us. I wasn't expecting all of that. I wasn't expecting all of that. I don't know if you guys were. We had seen some of the stuff, but again, they threw out even more. But before we get started, I want to talk about some of the stuff that It's Chad talked about. He said that it is that the rumors are true. Well, are they true? That the Snowcat's going to be coming. Gave a price point of anywhere from 150 to 200, or that's what they're looking at. Now, he didn't technically say this was 150 to 200, but he said it's going to be a new price point that they're moving at. What do you guys think of the Snowcat for GI Joe?
I think it's going to be good for it, but shouldn't we bring out a few more figures before we start pumping out a vehicle like that? Because who do we have for it on the Joe end? One guy, right?
Yeah, well, I would assume that there's going to be more by the time this one, if this actually gets released. Ryan, what do you think?
I think, look, John Warden is over the overall brand for GI Joe. He also has Power Rangers. He's the one that actually helped bring Emily over. So since he's come and take over this brand, he has the understanding of what GI Joe has done in the past. And I think that you've seen the Vamp at $100. This team understands that there's price limits that you can go to for collectors, so you're not basically just having a dog that's not going to sell. I think if they do have the Thunder Machine or the Snowcat, it's going to be at that 125, 130 price point, because I think anything over 150, it's not going to sell. It just won't sell.
And Graph, really quick, I already have a 3D printed purple Hiss, so I won't be painting any. Now, if you can get me like $600 in super chats, we can discuss it. Bobby, what's your opinion on the Snowcat?
Agreeing with Ryan with that price point. I think if you go higher, people aren't going to troop build it. Whereas if it's 125, I think people will probably pick up 2 or 3. And then as far as going back to the snow figures, all we got a snow job so far. The thing should come with Frostbite. I think, is he the original driver?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know he came with I have the Toys R Us one from the Spy Troops era that came with the O-ring Frostbite, and then I got the one with whiteout from Pursuit of Cobra. But I'm curious if it were, would have to probably see a lot more Cobra troops. Would we see an Arctic Cobra Commander or what? So
Yeah, and Yo 19 Kilo says Alpine is on the way too, and he kind of crosses over. He could be
Yeah.
a snow trooper, a mountain trooper. How quick it can be, a snow trooper wearing no shirt, no jacket, anything like that. I think again it is pretty iconic, but I do wonder at such a price point where you are going to have half the people that purchase it that don't have snow that they can go do pictures in. Now I know there's people that will leave it in a box or just put it on display, but you look at people in Texas, Arizona, Florida. When it's 10, $15 when we were kids, it's one thing, but when you're getting in the $100 range, I'm not sure if it's going to sell nearly as good as obviously a Vamp or the Thunder Machine. But that's not an army builder, so that's another risk in that one. So
Plus, you're going to need to have the Cobra Wolf or something to have the opposite side of it too. So you're going to have something from the Cobra side, and I think that's what will dictate most of this is what do they have out there for Cobra that you can tie into.
Yeah, and to me it seems like you'd come out the Polar Bear first. It's smaller. That you can justify for probably $55, $60 because it's going to have a figure. Mm-hmm. I believe they want it so they can have it numbered, have that figure on it. Now I was listening to the Full Force and they were discussing whether it have working treads. What do you guys think of? Would it need to have working treads on it?
Absolutely, in my opinion. If his tank has working treads, I want working treads on that also.
See, I think that's a huge price point. And what I was thinking is if you went with the same thing that's on Scrap Iron's rocket launcher, they're rubberized, but they have the wheels on the bottom, so they look like they're working treads. But I think you're going to be asking for. I don't know. What do you guys think?
The more moving parts you have is more tooling, which means more cost, which means it's going to push that to a point where you're not going to troop build like Bobby said. So it was we had the dumbbell wheels as kids. I think they could come up with something to tie into that, but they may not even put treads with it. They might just put tires with it. Who knows?
Yeah, and like I said, that's just one of those things that it makes me just wonder about it. When you live close to the border, you can substitute cold for snow. Tony, is this true? So, what do you think, Bobby? Do you think it would need working treads, or would you be okay if it had something like Scrap
I'm kind
Iron?
of split between it because, nobody's going to be like dragging it across their shelves or their backyard or whatever. Unless you're a kid, but at the same time, if you're a kid and you're dropping $125 on a vehicle, props to you. Do what you want, I guess. But
yeah, and like I said, I would be fine with.
So I'm kind of torn. Going with the Scrap Iron drone, I like them, but I just feel like they were missing some articulation, just the way they were designed in general.
Yeah, but I'm saying just that look where they look like they're rubber. They look like they're working treads, and they don't move. I think that's fine for photography. You just have, the dumbbells on the bottom so you can roll it across. But I don't. I know they repainted this, but are there really practical repaints for this like there are for the Vamp?
I believe only in Tiger Force.
They had the Tiger Force, and they had the Havoc Mark II.
Okay,
I believe.
Yep.
Which no one ever looked at as a Havoc. And then the other issue that I've always had with this is there's no guns on it. I think you'd have to put some sort of guns on the missile rack so you have something, because you run out of missiles pretty quickly. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. It doesn't need moving treads. Waste of damn money. Yeah, as long as they're looking like they.
The only thing that worries me about that is when you have your his tank and your Snowcat next to each other, and they're both treaded vehicles, and they're almost the same size, because like in the vintage line, they're nearly the same size if you put them together. But it's just going to be an awful difference on treaded vehicles, in my opinion. That's the only thing that really bugs me about it.
But you gotta look at price point.
Yeah.
That's that's the big thing. Do you want to
Yeah.
spend $300 again?
Right.
Because I think that if they did
and let's
another
be
fish
honest,
tank, you're not going to get that.
if they don't have treads, there's going to be some 3D printer guy or somebody out there who's going to print these off and make the treads for us. So if you want to have it, there's going to be options.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Bruce says, I don't understand the big trouble with actual treads. The Cobra Hiss from the 25th anniversary line had moving treads and didn't break the Hasbro bank. I still have that red Crimson Hiss.
Bruce, they probably made 3 times the amount that they'll make for the Snowcat. It was in a 1/18 scale, and they also had a movie tie-in with it too.
Right.
And again, you wouldn't be using the same treads off of the Hiss. It's not like you could just grab that mold and use that. It'd be a completely different mold, and then what are you going to reuse it for? That's and I understand what people say, but and again, people want to say. I know the moment you say, hey, listen, this is how big business, this is how corporations work. They say you're a shell, but you do have to look at it from their point of view of how things work. People hate reuse, but if I go look at a car, if I go look at a Chrysler, they're reused between Dodges, Chryslers, and Jeeps. They have all the same parts being reused. Same with, GMs and Fords. So I do understand that to a point, and like I said, I need some sort of guns. It was always my biggest complaint about this. It didn't have any guns. And if it went anywhere not on snow, you couldn't use 2 of the missiles. Unless you're in the water.
Yeah.
I would rather see a Skyhawk compared to a Snowcat, personally.
I have a 3D printed Skyhawk, and they're huge.
Yeah.
Skyhawk was such a big part of GI Joe too. You always seen someone hopping in and out of one. They all used them. So.
And the other thing about this thing would be gigantic because it fits 2 people, but the wheels stick out. And and I've said this numerous times, unlike the O-ring figures, you can't just finagle classified figures into a 2-seater. They have big, wide shoulders. They take up more space. So it's going to be more than the ratio of what you would think going from 1/18 to 1/6. You do have to make it a little bit bigger. A matter of fact, Greg, my 3D printer, he said he's printing one of these, and the back end is absolutely huge. So, and then Frostbite. I don't always want the exact same thing. But damn it, if I don't get an M16 with a giant scope, I'm going to be pissed off. Because this gun is so iconically stupid. What do you guys think about the giant scope on this thing?
I think it's awesome.
I love it.
Wasn't it like the infrared night scopes like back in the day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Same with Tunnel Rat and Xandar. I mean, they had guns like that too. It was awesome.
Yeah, this one is just like, I always laughed at it even as a kid, but it was one of my favorite guns. There's no doubt about it. It was one of my favorite guns, but this scope made no sense whatsoever. And it always was funny because when it got to him having a gun, most of the drivers didn't have guns, and if they did, they were small. And then they just slapped this giant ass thing in with him. So, but you got to have Frostbite. You got to have, I like other weapons too. Maybe that kind of you can mount onto it. I think that would be pretty cool. So I could just kind of pull them off. But you guys got to have something very similar to this.
Well, so far, with the exception of Breaker and the Ram, haven't all of our other vehicle drivers or pilots or whatever come with a bunch of weapons and gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty close. Risky says Gridiron had a gun with a giant scope. Yeah, Gridiron does a really good job of recreating the weapons and stuff for the figures that when Hasbro didn't give them to us. But unfortunately, you're paying more for the weapons, so you kind of have to justify it. And again, this is not me putting down them, but all right. And then on to the Thunder Machine.
Yes.
Hell yes.
Wow, Dreadnok Ryan wants the Thunder Machine. That's absolute shocker. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
It's iconic enough. The Dreadnoks are one of those sub teams that a lot of Joe collectors like. Having the group hanging off the side of it's that Mad Max vehicle that we always loved as kids. I think this is one you aren't going to get the repaints off of it, but it's one that they could make for a great price point like that 130, and I think people would buy multiples of these just for the rest of their Dreadnoks.
You really think so?
I do.
See,
hey, when I was collecting 118, I had 4 Thunder Machines because I had all the Dreadnoks, so they all needed it. We needed to have products.
Nice.
So,
Bobby, I don't think we're going to get October Guard just because of everything that's happening in Russia. With that said, they are letting Super 7 make an October Guard. But if they do, and Ryan, anyone else they can speak up to, I think it's going to be changed. It's not going to be Russian.
I think someone was posted a bunch of their backstories or places of birth or whatever. They're not all born in Russia. They were all like the Soviet Union countries at the time. So like some of them are Ukrainian, some of them are everything. It's just they were based out of Russia with their Yo-Ivan or whatever you want to call it.
And I don't think if Hasbro won't give the hooded Cobra Commander, I don't think they're going to touch this either. And again, that's not saying it would never happen. I just think that they're and Johnny Reno, November Guard. Ryan, what do you think?
I think in the past, no, you wouldn't have seen them. But as I think 2024 is going to be the year for GI Joe. And I think with the popularity of the brand, because Marvel is down right now, Star Wars is down right now, collectors are buying these, it may open up that opportunity to start filling out some of the October Guard. They have them in the comics. So I think we may see Hasbro break on that a little bit just because of the popularity of the brand.
Okay. Yeah. I would have no problem if they change the October Guard because, to me, I mean, you can change where they're saying they're from, but we all know where they're actually supposed to be from at this age. So, but I also understand I don't understand from Hasbro's point of view. There's some things I don't understand, but I'll leave it at that. So with this thing here, now I said, what was that?
I was going to say, you don't even have to really call them October Guard. It can just be like Horror Show or Diana or just the characters' names themselves. And not even have to.
It's like Mad Marauders. Everyone knows that it's Slaughter's Marauders. They don't want to use the name. And you know what? And all you YouTubers that try and pull this shit about going, well, I don't know why they just don't do it. You know exactly the reason. If Sergeant Slaughter decides that, hey, you know what? I don't want to be associated with this anymore. They are fucked. You know the reason. Stop acting dumb and getting all your subscribers and followers all worked up over it. You know the fucking reason. Stop acting stupid.
There's a lot of broken hearts over the Nemesis Immortal thing.
Okay, but
you scroll through Facebook, there's so many people upset by it, and you're like, he's been this way since 2008, if not sooner.
But I think they lost the rights to it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think there's
they lost. I mean, if Slaughter says, "Hey, you can't use my name," it's losing the rights, kinda. So,
I was just mad that it's not Bobby B Nemesis because I'd buy that one in a heartbeat. We could have a 2-pack.
Yeah, 2-pack.
You would be on the big body. I would definitely be on the small body. So I said that this is the perfect HasLab. Now, the more and more of these rumors that we hear, the more and more I don't think that it is going to be. And I said it'd be a perfect HasLab because you give a base model like this, but this is the perfect vehicle to give a Charger front end, different 50 calibers, a different jet engine, because it truly was just a fucking smashed together vehicle. You know what I mean? And I thought those would be awesome tiers where you could make your own Thunder Machine or have a classic one. But it looks like it's not going to do that. And I can admit when I was wrong, but I was, again, I'm still, it's kind of like seeing Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian. I watched the whole thing and I'm like, no way. Until I see this, I'm still going to be saying the same thing. But I mean, it just, again, I think it's iconic. I don't think they'll have a hard time selling it. And I think this is because you really can't, I mean, I know there were some repaints, but this is not a Hiss or Vamp that you can just slap on different colors. But I think this is iconic enough. There's so many Dreadnoks.
Yeah, with all the Dreadnoks they gave us, I mean, this is a definite must-have.
Yeah. And you can make it so obviously it can hold. I mean, we're seeing what, Valaverse is doing with theirs and putting pegs on the side. You have the same thing, so then you can say, hey, it also carries 6 people too. So, and then you have Thrasher. I always hated this figure. Like, he just has, I don't know if he has a giant head or just giant hair.
What is that he's holding? Is that a lacrosse stick?
Yes.
Yeah, I always thought that was. Lacrosse is big in the north, not so much in the south.
I don't. Is it big here? I mean, it's known.
In New York, they played it all the time.
Okay.
When I was a kid, that and hockey, we played all year long, or tried to all winter.
So, what do you guys think of Thrasher?
I think it looked good in classified form.
Yeah,
I think once you bring that hair down, maybe give him like 2 different hair pieces, so he doesn't have to have the giant hair.
Yeah, classic and modern look.
he's got to have a mullet. He's got to have some sort of mullet.
I think like this classic hair and then like a mullet would be perfect. Just like they did with Zorana, where she's kind of have that punker.
They can use Zartan's body for this, a new, upper piece for the shoulder pads, and the change swappable hair, so that's done. That's why I think the Thunder Machine will be a general release they can do for, like I said, $130.
Yeah.
No, what are your feelings on figures with half shirts? I know it was a big craze in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm okay with no more half shirts. Like,
me too.
They might just do just that, like the shoulder pad overlay and no shirt underneath.
I was actually just thinking that when you said that, and I'm like, oh god. Well, I mean, you're gonna get that with Road Pig.
Yeah.
Well, if he comes out, according to Viper Island, it's still it was rumors, and you don't run with rumors. People need to do a better job. And then Chris McLeod comes out and confirms it all.
Well, I will say, Lawrence, I'm still waiting for Dr. Mindbender in my trouble bubble. So I refuse to buy the trouble bubble with Dr. Mindbender until I get that. So,
well, you know what? It's probably somewhere in the back at Target. They just haven't got the street date for it yet. So, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it means you don't watch the show enough. All right. Quickly, 61 people watching. There should be 61 likes. Make sure you hit that like button, because guess what? It all helps out the algorithm. So, and the fact that you guys have tuned in to check out this on a Friday night out of nowhere, I definitely do appreciate it. So, all right. So I would say these are in no particular order, but these are in the order of the first ones I don't like most. If you watch the show, you know I do not like Cobra Law. I hate that movie. It's not G.I. Joe. Will I buy it? Probably, yes. Will it look good? Probably, because they designed everything. I'm going to let you guys speak what you think on this. Nemesis. What is he called? Nemesis. Immortal. Bobby, what do you think?
So when a lot of my G.I. Joe like knowledge and stuff came from when I was overseas, I'd read the comics and everything. And for a while, I'd go through like rotations of what, team or what sub team, whatever I got really into. I got really into the Dreadnoks for a little bit. And then I started buying all like the 30th and 25th anniversary versions of them. and then I went through a Cobra Law phase, and I'm not too proud of it, but having this giant winged dude that could just cut a tank in half was very interesting, in my opinion. So I picked up the Falcon 2-pack with him, and the 25th figure is all right. I never did pick up the O-ring, and then I was disappointed that we didn't see any other Cobra Law member coming forward. I would have loved a bunch of Royal Guards. So I'm kind of excited for him. Curious to what he's going to be, deluxe or not, because he's going to have some giant wings, and then if we're going to see any kind of bug weapons with him.
And like Shango here says, passing on anything Cobra Law except Serpentor. And I understand that. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Cobra Law?
So I hated Cobra Law. I hated the movie when it came out. I was so disappointed. But as I've gotten older, I appreciate it a little bit more, and I appreciate these figures. The only thing that scares me with this is the wings. You've seen, giant wings that are just plastic, and they just don't always look right. So I want to see what Lenny and team can do for the sculpting on the wings, because I think that's what's going to make or break this figure.
Well, I mean, there's two ways to go with it. You either give them both wings, the draped wings, or just smaller wings and the big wings like gargoyles, or you do what they did with the gargoyle, the robotic figure, where the wings actually go in and out, and they do stay up. They are really nice, but those don't look as good as the regular wings when they're expanded. Arron, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm the same way as Ryan. I didn't like this as a child. I remember seeing the 3-pack in the store when it came out, and I did watch the movie. I thought it was okay, but this is where my stopping point as a child, where I had to pick and choose between characters, and I decided to leave them on a rack. Now, as an adult, I've actually grown to love it. And a lot of the like Tiger Force and Python Patrol that came out afterwards. But yeah, as a kid, not so much. But I would like to have something of that caliber in my collection. And with the wings, I just hope they don't do like they did in Gargoyles, where they're really like hard, and if they fall off the shelf, like it seems like they're just going to crack and smash. I would more like a more rubber texture.
Well, I will say this: Hasbro's never going to do that, because that's so rigid that does not pass the 4 and up. And you're right; those gargoyles, man, like they start hitting you. JLS says here they should make them like the Marvel Legends Archangel wings. Yeah, like I agree. Like those, that's how it should look. Now, I'm going to say something. This was the one figure that I did like, because I had the 3-pack, obviously. I actually did like this figure. I think he does look pretty good, but I just hate the whole concept of Cobra Law and everything that goes with it.
It was a huge change, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah, and I hated Duke. So you find out Duke doesn't die, and you're disappointed. Then years later, you find out it's because Optimus Prime, and you're like, well, why didn't you release the GI Joe movie first and kill Duke, and then not kill Optimus Prime? Because everyone liked Optimus Prime. Well, I did, so I don't care about everyone else. Again, I don't like this. I guarantee you that it's going to look awesome, because Lenny and that whole team has done a wonderful job with everything except for Falcon's face. All right.
Yes.
One more thing with him. Would you guys want like, the veiny, rigid, venomish wings, or would you guys want like maybe like a modern high-tech sci-fi update?
That's a good question.
See, I would rather a sci-fi update, because I don't like this type of lore in GI Joe. I don't mind how Serpentor was made. I liked that whole idea, the whole comic story arc. So I wouldn't mind it where it's like he's kind of the same, but they're mechanical, like did it for Vulture in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you
If
think?
I had my perfect choice, they would be cloth, and they would look like giant bat wings. That's what I think. If you're going to do Nemesis Immortal, you got to kind of stick true to it. But I would not be
You want 'em to
opposed
be
to a
organic.
modern update as well.
You'd want it to feel organic, not where he's kind of like mechanical and kind of cybernetic.
Yeah, I would be okay with both, but I think if you're gonna use one of the figures in the line, like you're using one of the slots to make this figure. It's new tooling for all of this. Go big or go home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm well, again, like I think that for me, I thought like, hey, you know what? This is going to be built off of the Roadblock, like that size, Roadblock Gung Ho size, the size that Road Pick is going to be. Maybe using some of the tooling off of Serpentor because he's such a large figure. But people think that he needs to be bigger than Serpentor, and I'm just like, all right, well, then you should buy him and put him with your Mythic Legions because that's what he's going to fit with.
Yeah.
It's just my,
Yeah,
which is good for the GI Joe team. They'll have people that'll buy that are into AWOC and stuff that are like, hey, I can fit this guy in. So, all right, next figure, Starduster. Thoughts?
Expensive.
That is the truth there.
Mm-hmm.
Easiest reuse and repaint of Duke ever.
Yeah.
Yep. All you're gonna need is to sculpt a new head. That's it. You already have the.
I don't even think they sculpt a new head. I think they use the original Duke head from the first wave, just black hair and color.
And the A version comes with Rakondo's chest.
You think they would do that? I mean, I can't see them reusing his face.
Living in the closet at Hasbro, this is one of these figures that you can repaint, save money on tooling and the deco, and use it for other figures with this wave.
But I just think the face they would redo, unless they were trying to pay so much of an homage that they're like, we're gonna reuse a head also. But they did say that, hey, if you remember how it was with the cereal, I'd be expecting something like that. And Aaron messed with the speaker because we get.
Is the speaker working now? Is it good?
I don't know. I heard a little bit of an echo for a second there.
No, it should be good.
The bootleg version is named Crap Duster. And JLS, do you have a video on that? Because I would like to see that one. So, Aaron, what's your opinion on this?
The saddest part is that I do have to go buy a vintage one now that they're coming out with this. But I'm excited for it. And like I don't want to skip over to Duke, but the helmet that's coming with Duke is very similar to this helmet, and that gives a lot of room for customs, like Grand Slam. What's that? What we got? Flash. I think he has a visor helmet. All the visor helmet laser guys. I'm excited for it, and I seen this, like I've seen the customs made and stuff, and they look good. I think he's going to be good for the line, and I am excited for it because if you're a vintage collector, like this character is like so hard to come by, especially for a good price, and there's a lot of ones that are fake out there. So he's interesting to me.
Here, I want to pull up this comment. Ken, late to the party. I just want to say Ken was the first person that I asked and the first person to say no. So you had your chance. You used the "I'm doing something with my kid" thing. Come on. One day, Ken. One day we'll get you on here. Bobby, what do you think of this?
It's interesting. Everyone's talking about the reuse and stuff. I'm curious we haven't seen a jetpack with a single figure yet. So I'm curious if they're going to make this a deluxe and then give them some kind of ridiculous cereal box style packaging and then throw the jetpack in there with the blast effects for it, and then that'll push it to that deluxe price point or whatever. So
They'll probably use the same jetpack that came out in Steel Court.
Yeah.
yeah. So
You just ruined this for me, because I bet you this is either a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive or a PulseCon exclusive for Stardust.
See, and that's what I'm thinking. When you start looking at like Nemesis Enforcer or Immortal, and then you look at this, now those to me are perfect uses for San Diego Comic-Con, PulseCon exclusive, something like that. But this is the perfect one, especially if you're going to have a cereal box to go with it. But
I'm not saying like a full size cereal box. I'm like how Slaughter had the fancy packaging. I feel like we'll get
they're going to do something. I mean, they flat out basically said it. I mean, but the thing they've done with San Diego Comic-Con and PulseCon is they've made both those figures work together, and I don't see that changing. Because I even said something.
Does he tie in with anybody else, or?
I don't think so, but Nemesis Enforcer does. See, I would see those being more of a. What was that?
So, like maybe a Pythona or like the 3-pack where you get.
That's what I'm thinking.
Pythona and a couple of the guards.
Yeah, so I could see that, but and again, they don't do like it. I mean, this year was good. I mean, you know, Chuckles and then the 3-pack, but the year before it was Serpentor and Mindbender. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it doesn't have to be like good versus evil. It can be two good guys. It can be two bad guys. So you're gonna want to get. Again, they're not giving us Nemesis Enforcer. And so if they're giving us Nemesis Enforcer, you know we're getting Galabulus. We're going to get Pythona. And then we're going to get the Royal Guard. And who knows who else. I hate them all. All right. Xandar. I always liked Xandar. He was one of my favorite Dreadnoks. I know he's not everyone's favorite. People seem to really dislike this guy. I can tell you mine still changes color. My childhood one still does change color. So does my Zartan, my Zarana. And you have the wrong gun there.
Does it?
Yeah, that's Sonorat's gun.
Hang on.
You can wait. It's right here on the. It's right there.
No, it's right there. How did I?
You can look in the book, but it's right there.
Oh, you know what he was? I have all my 3/3 in a bag right now.
Hey, listen, don't feel bad because it was pointed out to me that my buzzer had the wrong crotch, and then when I went downstairs to look, I realized Buzzer, Ripper, Torch, and Monkey Wrench all had the wrong crotches because sometime when I was a kid, I must have changed them and didn't realize it.
So you were doing crotch transplants as a kid, Lawrence? Was that getting all those shipwreck figures for Christmas?
Crotch transplants. Look at all that pelvis.
No, I had all the right ones. They were just on the wrong figures. They were just I must have been fixing the O-rings probably with rubber bands, and I put all the wrong ones on there. But you did that in the 80s. I mean, I didn't look back at it. Like, I didn't think about it. That happened with when I did my Flint review. People are like, those are the wrong legs, right? I'm like, what? Sure enough, I had like 5 figures that all had the wrong legs. And it ended up being a heavy metal. I had somehow taken 2 heavy metal figures and swapped their legs. The only reason why I was able to figure out that it was heavy metal was because I had recently bought a lot that had a brand new heavy metal in it, so I could see what he was. And then I had to figure out which figures were wrong. That was a lot of fun. These people are the Dreadnoks. They were easy to figure out. Anyway, that's another story I can tell another time. Bobby, what do you think of Xandar?
I'm not completely against them. I mean, we got Zartan. I got to make sure I pronounce it right, or everyone gets upset. And then Zarana. So it was only a matter of time until we got him. There's a couple other Dreadnoks I'd rather see before him, but we might as well get him out of the way now.
quickly here. Rachel says there was a rumor about Heart Wrencher. Is that dead now? No. Chris McLeod pretty much confirmed it. They just didn't announce Monkey Wrench or Heart Wrencher. They announced 2 of the figures, and they even commented that because of the internet things leaked, and then they gave us 2 other figures. So they just didn't announce it. Is all that they did. They're coming. I mean, Chris said, because when someone said, well, these are just a because they listed to Viper Island, they said this is just a wish list, and Chris goes, hey, there's a reason why we're reporting on it. Read between the lines. Just read between the lines, guys. You know, like, if Chris tells you that it's coming, it's coming. You know, he knows what he's allowed to say, what he's not. They let him break a lot of the stuff. But no, I'm happy with this. You got to have him, right? There's no way you could not have his brother, right?
Yeah, it completes the family.
Aaron, what do you think?
Like I said, it completes the family. You got the brother, the sister. I mean, we got to have them. I'm not against them. I didn't like him too much as a kid, but he's grown on me over the years, and he's just part of the line. I just got to have him now.
So my question is, when he comes out, do you want him to have this gun or Tunnel Rat's gun?
Well, in my defense, I had to move all my 3 3/4 because my classified has consumed my shelf, and I'm in the middle of making a 3 3/4 display case. So I have all my guys in bags, and that's how it got mixed up with the guns. I thought it was a gun, but
I just love the fact you're reaching for that book. The picture's here, and Ryan and I are both going, no, dude, that is.
I was like, Emma, and it's right in front of me. Hey, told you guys I'm new to this live stuff.
Hey, listen, like I said, I'm going to dish it out. I'm going to take it. I prefer lube if you guys have it, just so you know.
Correct me when I'm wrong.
Ryan,
always fine with me.
It's in your name. What do you think?
I had him as a kid. I'm okay with it. I would have loved to seen some other Dreadnoks before him. I think Bobby and I feel the same on that. But do we need them? Yes. So more of the Dreadnoks, the merrier. Give me all of them, and I'll be a happy camper.
Well, the only Dreadnok we need before him is Monkey Wrench, in my opinion. And you're gonna have the 3 main ones.
Yeah.
You're getting some of the not as well known or later ones. And I never understood why people didn't like Xander. He was always one of my favorite. He's probably, after Torch, probably my favorite Dreadnok.
It's a bold statement.
I don't know. Maybe Maybe it's the. Is he wearing a shirt or is he I don't know. Like, he has no shirt but has a bandana but has pauldrons on. I mean, that is a look.
He's got those
that
red.
Is the look that I've been trying to wear, but YouTube is like, we'd rather you not do that.
all I'm saying is they better sculpt some nipples on. That's all I'm asking, since that's a thing now. So
yeah. He's got, I guess, are those tattoos on him? Is that tattoos on his chest? Or?
No, he took some Ric Flair knife edge chops. That's what happens.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna come with he's gonna be a deluxe, and he comes with a little digital pad, and you hit it, and he goes woo every time.
I'm sold on that one.
And what it is, it's like Battle Armor He-Man. It flips, and then it shows one, and then you get another one. How come no one's
now
done
we're talking about crossover?
Okay, I'm so going off. How come no one has done a chest flop, like a chest chop, other figure like Battle Armor He-Man that comes with a Ric Flair, and every time he swings his hand back, it flips like the Battle Armor He-Man, and you get a red mark of one big hand. All right. Anyway,
I'm down with it.
Rachel has a question for Ryan. Dreadnok Ryan, what are your thoughts on Rugrat, Demolisher, Crusher, Machete, and Death Metal? Well, I always thought the Rugrats were really cute. There was the one annoying little sister. Oh, you're talking about the figure.
We're not talking about Tommy Pickle.
It's been a long.
Those were from the. If I'm right, those were from the. What was it? The Collector Club set where it was like Bobby Joe, Billy Bob, something.
Yeah, I
for the
think so.
Dreadnoks. Or is she talking about the BBTS 8-pack that they did? If you're talking about the BBTS 8-pack of figures where you got the newer Dreadnoks added, I'm all for that. So, thank you.
Risky says Rugrat and Machete were only briefly in the comic and not worth making. Yeah, I don't think it's the Bobby Joe. Yeah, I think there were some other ones, but it is, again, very interesting. Like, very interesting to. There's so much that they can do, and we know that. I mean, we're gonna get so much stuff. I mean, you look at the stuff. All right, so everyone seems okay with this.
Go back and read those and find out. I just know I believe it's Xania, his daughter from the Devil's Due. Definitely want that figure.
Yes, I'm with you on that because I think that is that's the perfect character to throw into this line. It's another female that has a story already built in. You're not creating a female figure to say, "Hey, look, we have another female figure." I'm always about, I don't want to have, and this goes with TV, movies, whatever. I don't need a character made gay because we need a gay character, or we need a female because we don't have a female or a black character. I want a story to go with it, and just throwing another female in Dreadnoks because, we need a female doesn't make sense. The fact that they already wrote out that Zartan had this daughter that he didn't know about, it just worked so perfectly with the Dreadnoks and pretty much how they would be they are a family, whether they like each other or not. So, and I think we're getting Xania. And I love the fact that Lenny doesn't have to just stick with the O-rings because, all right. And then this is the one that I've been waiting for. This was always one of my favorite figures. Leatherneck. I'm going to start with Bobby, the old army brat. Do you have a problem with Marines in your GI Joe?
No, not at all. More the I think we're gonna see the that 50 cal in the bipod with Leatherneck though.
He's got to have the. He's got to have the.
That we're seeing with the Action Soldier, so I think that's gonna transfer over.
Make sure I got the right gun.
All right. I'm not going to say this, Mr. Mad Gus, but I'm going to put it up there because it made me laugh. He's got to have, even if I would like an M16 with 203. Just make it, throw it in there, and then you can use it. It should have been made with Copperhead. Copperhead should have come with one. I said that from the beginning.
We don't have any yet, do we?
No, they don't have any grenade launchers.
Yeah, just Grunts M16. That's about it.
With Copperhead, it was a great chime to launch that, and they could have put it right with them, and I wouldn't have cared to have it twice.
Yep, I agree. But like this was my favorite gun because why was this my favorite gun, guys?
Because you watched a lot of Black Hawk Down as a kid?
Because it's launching grenades.
Okay, once again, Bobby, we are in a different age. Dreadnok Ryan, you know why.
It's Predator. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's gun from Predator.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is what Arnold was firing with one hand, never aimed it, but never missed.
Get to the chopper. Go.
Yeah. Any of us that grew up and saw Predator, you saw this character and you went, I need that.
That meme going around Facebook, Target just had Predator NECA figures on sale, and I bought one, and now he's in my Christmas tree. So
Nice.
the wife was like, "I'll allow it."
Are you the one that put that post on Facebook?
I didn't. I wish I did. That's genius, though. That's the reason I went out and bought one.
NECA stuff does not go on sale very often.
No, it doesn't.
Aaron, what do you think? You have him right there. You have the right gun.
Yeah, I have the right gun this time. Leatherneck is. I've been hollering at him. I've wanted this character for a long time, so I'm super stoked. He's a classic Joe that was always in the cartoon, and I mean, he's a Marine. I mean, just bring him to us. You know, he's got the green on. You know, it's just a must-have, and I think he'll do well. Definitely won't sit on no racks.
And I know this has been a complaint of Bobby's, and I've had the same complaint. This is one that you could do the gray gun, and you really couldn't complain about it because you'd be like, it's like the original.
Right.
Although I would much rather have it not be gray, but you know, you gotta accept certain things. Ryan, what do you think?
Home run. It's Ron Rudat in the action figure form. I can see him using parts that they have from Rock and Roll for him. Hopefully this means that we see Wetsuit around the corner, and I'll definitely be a happy camper.
And then the big question is, are they going to have a Marine cover? Or is it going to be like what they did with Gung Ho, where it's not the exact same? They tried to make it similar. Because that's been a huge complaint that the Marine Corps, Hasbro pretty much doesn't want to pay the Marine Corps licensing fee to do certain things. I don't know if the cover is covered by that though, because
I don't think Gun Guns was far off from an 8-point, was it? Isn't that what they're called, 8 points?
yeah, but there was something different about it because that's why when Bobby made it for Action Force, that's why he was able to do that. Or he did that. Did the retro one have? Did they change the cover?
Yes, they did for the retro.
Down South 77 says, as far as Leatherneck, I'm curious to see if they sculpt him after Ron Rudat again, since he's not really thrilled with Classified. I wonder if they give his likeness. Well, would you say that they gave the likeness of Larry Hama to Tunnel Rat, like a younger version?
No, I don't think they did. But I think, look, I don't think it's going to look exactly like Ron Rudat from back in the day.
Yeah.
And if Ron's unhappy with Classified, I'm kind of surprised because they used his design for the His tank, and you know he has a signature on that packaging. So, you know, I don't. I know they can't use the Marine emblem, but I mean, Gung Ho does have pretty darn close to a correct hat.
Yeah.
For what
I kind of forgot that they did remake it. Yeah. So that one did. The other one did not. Bobby's on mute though.
My bad.
So the first one was different.
Yeah, the first one was just kind of like a little patrol cap.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy about it. Then they did the actual 8-point for the retro.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think there's an issue with that. I mean, you really can't stop someone from doing that. But the emblem, you know, the actual Marine emblem, yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it seems like you want to do that, but
it's like free marketing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Top Gun. How many people joined the Air Force and the Navy because of that? You know, and not all of them became pilots. Literally, they realize you can't just jump in a cockpit and fly a fighter jet. Yeah, I'm excited for this figure. I've always liked Leatherneck. I'm not even a big Marine guy, but I always love Gung Ho and Leatherneck, and I want to see him on a bigger body. A bigger body than Rock and Roll. Rock and Roll is not really big when you put him next to Gung Ho, Bazooka, and Roadblock. Maybe next to Mezco Roadblock, but he's not nearly as big as the Classified one. But I want him to be on a bigger body, but I don't want him to be as big as I always looked at Gung Ho and Roadblock as being the biggest Joes. And I for my lore, I want to keep it that way. So I was happy that, you know, Bazooka was bigger, but not as big as them.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of reading through some of these. All right, so let's get into what they put up for pre-order. Did you guys order everything? I'm assuming probably yes.
Yes, I did.
It was so hard to find people that ordered everything.
Did you guys see? Oh well, we'll get into that later. I was gonna talk about the what sold out the quickest, but we'll go over. Leave that to you.
All right, so probably the worst kept secret, Scarlet. And the only reason why we're getting a Scarlet is because Emily had to push her narrative to give us Glenda. Although Emily knows nothing about GI Joe, but she knows so much about it that she would push her agenda to put some female character that is in the lore but nobody knows about. I contradicted myself as much as every GI Joe person on Facebook does. So, what do you guys think of this figure?
I thought the retro card figures are home runs for this team. It's figure stands, they come with extra hands, extra weapons, thicker card art or the card now. So I don't know what we can complain about with these figures, but I'm sure somebody will find something.
Oh, someone will find something for sure. I'm with you. They gave her so much stuff and they look amazing. Aaron, what do you think?
I think Scarlet's great. I really like that they added every little detail, including that little handgun that's on her wrist and whatnot.
And right now, Tony's fig is already freaking out because it's sculpted in. There's not one that he can pull out because guns should not be sculpted in.
Yes, I'm sure he'll jump right on that and adjust that. But yeah, this is the Scarlet that's going to be a part of my collection. I've opened up like movie Scarlet so far, so that's the only one I have like sitting in my collection right now, and I've been waiting for this version to come out.
And looking at this picture right here, it looks like she can actually hold the handgun together. One of my biggest complaints about Classified is the majority of their figures, the butterfly is useless. It's just there. It doesn't actually work.
And even with it being a female figure where, of course, she has a bigger chest, that is nice that she can grab it.
But it could just be great photography. So we'll find out, but I'm hoping that it does. Bobby, what do you think of this?
So unpopular opinion, I don't care for this. I know it's the OG look. I don't care for the look. I think the unitard's kind of goofy looking. I always thought it was when I was a kid. I like the Renegades update where she kind of had that yellow shirt with the bulletproof vest on. But I picked her up. I think she looks great. Someone did a count. I think it was Jersey Maniac, and Scarlet comes with more accessories than the Action Sailor for the lower price point, since she's just a standard figure. But yeah, it's awesome. The different hair, the posing, and everything's gonna be a lot of fun to do with her. So, and then she comes with the cartoon laser rifle, so you can't beat that.
And I think again, you said it's you think it's goofy, but again, this is the retro card, so this is the retro.
So I completely understand it.
Yeah, no, and I know you're not. I know you're not, but like Ryan said, someone is going to complain about it. Someone is going to say, well, she didn't have a quiver on her. She didn't have a quiver here. Well, why would they put a quiver there? Well, you can remove it.
You want the original? Just go buy the O-ring.
Exactly. What are your thoughts on how the card looks?
I think they look awesome. I'm not a fan of the giant tall bubble, but if it works, it works. I'm curious if they're the same size. Has anyone held up a Cobra Commander to the previous ones we've gotten yet?
I believe they're the same size, but I wouldn't know because mine is somewhere in transport from Chino.
I don't even have a shipping. Mine, Chino hasn't even gotten mine yet. I got the email saying Hasbro's like, hey, it left the building, and I check my FedEx app every 2 hours, and it's like nothing. I'm like, okay, cool.
I feel like I need to do you not realize I do reviews? I should have it for everyone.
Right?
I don't know how far that email gets.
Should know you by now.
So I hate the card. I don't need to see everything that it comes with. The bubble, the blister is just too big. When I look at, say what you want about the Black Series carded, they look proper. They're also not as giant as this. I hated them when they first came out. There's so much extra space on some of them. I just don't need to see everything. I already know that it's in there, or if it's on the side, like you could fit the M16 on the side, and I could still be able to see it. Ryan, what do you think?
I hate the vintage cards. I like the new packaging art that we get for classified, and it would not hurt my feelings to have the these retro cards have some sort of vintage box packaging. I open these figures and the cards get thrown away. The file card on the back is in like 5 different languages, so it loses its appeal. I guess it's more so for the in package collectors, but I mean, I don't know. I'm going to open my figures up and throw away the card. I don't care.
And so this is another issue that I have with this. The whole cross sell. Put the file card lower, make it smaller. It doesn't need to go all the way across because no one's ever going to read it. Why do you not have all the retro carded ones, including Cobra Commander? Like, why do you not have them? You should have more of them. Now you have 3. It just looks wrong. You should have Destro, Gung Ho, Baroness. You should have them all on it. There's no reason not to. And I think that this loses its luster of what we had as a kid.
I agree.
Am I crazy, Aaron? What do you think?
I totally agree, and I think they could even throw in some blank boxes that like they used to do, when you have a new figure coming or something,
yes.
To add to the hype.
Well, they did that. They did that on some of the earlier ones, but the silhouette was perfect, and you knew exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Make it so you don't know what it is, so you are guessing and driving people absolutely mad. But I hate this. Again, the file card should be at the bottom, and then you should have thrown in the ones that have already been out there. And again, like you said, have a couple of those blanks that coming soon. Super 7 did it with their, again, I don't like Super 7, but their packaging and all that other type of stuff, I think is really nice. So
yeah.
And then we get to the accessories here. Bobby, I think you already touched on it. So much stuff. Different arrows, the different hair pieces. Hell, you can even keep a hair piece out if you just wanted to have the short hair like your vintage one. And yeah, they gave the Valkyrie backpacks, but that's because they want to be able to hold everything on their person. What do you guys think of everything that it has, Ryan?
I think these vintage carded figures are coming with an absolute ton of accessories. The 9 figures that we ordered were loaded with accessories. So I'm happy with this. I want to see more of this.
Aaron, what do you think?
I think it's awesome with all the stuff she came with. The double ponytails, that small knife. I mean, she's loaded out, and I really like that I can put the bolt into the crossbow. That's exciting. That's something that we never had. We just had this thing. So
that's from the accessory pack. If you don't know, just so you know that.
Yes,
I think the sabotage arrow came off.
What was that, Bobby?
I think the bolt arrow, whatever you want to call it, for the sound attack crossbow came off in the 0102.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, there's been a couple.
It might have been rubber banded on. I might be mixing up with something else, but.
So, Bobby, what do you think of this? Because a lot of
I think the loadout's great. Yeah. You got a little bit of everything. You got her classic weapon. You got the classic cartoon weapon, and then you got the M16 if you want to mix it up for some more modern kind of stuff. So it works out. So
what do you think about the paint? Because I know you're a big one on like just the all gray, and I feel the same way. But looking at this, the stocks are actually painted, so it does give you some feel. What do you think of this color and the paint apps on the weapons?
I think the brown and green's good. Duke, his paint apps I think are slightly different for his laser rifle. So maybe if they would have been like universal, been a little bit better. But I mean, it looks good. It'll definitely look good with her, whatever you want to, pastel yellow color you want to call her, and then go from there. So. And
they're giving her a couple fits, and I'm fine with this. Like, I know people like the Valaverse having, the C cup hand and then having, trigger finger. I don't need to have a trigger finger and a closed hand. It's nice to have the fist hand. The open hand I think is almost useless, other than if you're posing with a pistol. But I think, that C cup that Valiverse comes with for the rifles, it's better just to take a regular hand, heat it up and stretch it out and actually put it around the weapon, because it actually looks like they're grabbing the gun. I hate those other hands.
I think just about all of mine have those, unless they have the foregrip. Then they got the actual grip. But I think
it's just easier because it keeps it in place, and then I think when you're looking at it and take pictures or whatever, it just seems to fit better. So
fists were long overdue.
I agree. I agree, because punching with a trigger finger does look awkward when you're doing pictures. All right, so as most people know, Duke was one of my least favorite characters. I was mad that he didn't die in the GI Joe movie. Even more mad when I found out he was supposed to die, but they changed it. I think this looks nice though. It does capture that mail away. Bobby, what do you think?
I'm all for it. Duke definitely needed an update. And this one just looks awesome. I know they talked about him going all heroic and everything. The helmet I could care less for, but everything else I think looks great. I'm just concerned about the not the ab crunch, the waist cut, diaphragm cut.
Oh, the belly dancer.
I know some people have had issues with them on some of the recent figures, so I'm curious to see how he'll play out.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, looking at this figure, I think, and this has nothing to do with me not liking Duke as much. I think normally his face sculpt is bad. They do not get Duke good. I think they did this one really well. Ryan, what do you think?
I have to disagree with you. I like the Duke head sculpt that we got for the first wave. I did like it.
Okay.
This one I think is great.
Wait, I apologize. You're right. That first Duke I did like. I was going more back to like the O-ring and the 4-inch figures. I just feel like their face is always wrong. But you're right. That one is really good.
The yelling O-ring face that they came out with just looked like absolute dog shit. Sorry. But with this figure, the paint apps, the coloring, everything for Duke, it looks like retro Duke. This was an easy buy for me. And I'm like you. I didn't have Duke as a kid, so I always hated him because I could never find him. So I had Stalker and I had a couple other guys who were my leaders. But I like these loadouts that they're coming with the retro. I like they have the fist with them now too. Again, though, I really don't care for the card art, but that's just me.
You know what? I'm okay if Hasbro says, "Hey, you know what, Bobby? You can have the screaming face. All right, you can have them on your figures. Your female. There's never been a good-looking screaming Duke face. All right, every time they do it, you're like,
I'm surprised we didn't get one with this.
I am too.
Because this would have been like right up there, like, oh, the 25th had one. This one's got to have one.
I'm with you. I'm surprised they didn't, but I'm glad that it didn't. Arron, what do you think on this?
I really like this Duke that's coming out. I haven't. Here's my Duke. Number 4 from the line. I still haven't opened them. I just wasn't happy with this Duke.
Let me say this right. Is that the first version or is that the?
This is the one with the gold.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. If you don't feel you need to open them, do not, because that thing's just going up in value.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I haven't, and I probably won't. But with the new Duke that they came out, I had a couple things that I think they could have threw in that little American flag sticker to possibly be stuck on his arm just for giggles, just something extra. And something that bothered me about the sculpt with this Duke is his wrists seem very fat, where that joint comes into that. It's almost unappealing.
Wow, thanks. I cannot see that.
Yeah, and that was the only thing that really bothered me. I love the face; think the face is on point for it. But after I'm not going to steal the credit. I was on a Shark News, and that's where they pointed it out, and I was like, I cannot unsee it either.
Does he have kinkles too?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Are they gonna have removable
What do you
boots?
call big wrist
Like,
when they're
he takes his boots off and he's just got it like his swollen feet. He's like, I can't run anymore, Hawk.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with that? Do you put a watch on them? You know what? How do you fix that?
It looks like something that wasn't done right. But now I can't not see it.
I'm gonna try to
Maybe it's
stand
just
it
the
down
lighting.
when I
Maybe
get
it's just the lighting.
I love his loadout. I love the fact that they gave him the laser rifle, even though I'm not a huge fan of the cartoon. I do like that weapon, and I'm glad that they gave him his submachine gun. That's to me that's iconic for him in Stalker. So I'm glad they gave it to him and not to Firefly. I don't want to get started on that one. And I know people were upset over, Lenny put the writing on the shovel. Like, again, I think Ryan said, like someone's gonna find something to bitch about. But for the most part, I think this. And again, I'm a non-Duke fan now, other than his swollen wrist.
Other than that, he's on point.
I thought they knocked this out of the park. Now I'm like, God damn it!
Sorry to bring that up.
Gotta get him fucking Weight Watchers when he gets here. All right.
Take the Dremel to his wrist.
I thought just thinking you're gonna have to trim them down a little bit.
I will. I probably will. I'll probably do a video on it.
All right, Rakondo. Now I know we all just saw the Tiger Force Rakondo. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Ryan, I'm gonna start with you.
Action figure therapy. I can't wait to see the videos they put out with Jungle in the 6-inch form. That's what I'm waiting for.
Jungle, baby.
Again, this is the Rakondo that looks just like the figure from A Real American Hero. I like the Tiger Force. I did some small swaps on mine. Got rid of the yellow stripes, so this is my Jungle, but I picked this one up. I think it's an easy buy. So, but yeah, I want to see Action Figure Therapy do this. They posted on their Facebook to be on the lookout for this, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
Tony's excited for it too, that he's finally getting his Rakondo. I'm with you. I think Tiger Force is really good. I have 2 of them because one was on, it was on sale. But there is an issue with the leg, which I hope they fix, where I have a big gap in the second one. And I mean, I would have to do a lot of carving down to get it to fit flushed. Now, I didn't have the same issue with the first one. My biggest beef, one of my beefs with Hasbro is where they don't, like when there's an issue with a figure and they repaint it, they don't fix the mold. They don't fix. And that's one of the things I know people rave about with Valiverse is that when he has an issue, he'll go back and he'll fix certain things because it really does need to be fixed. And I hope they start doing stuff like that because the Vipers, all those Viper repaints, they've all been loose. All the Snake Eyes version 2, loose body. And it drives me absolute nuts.
Yes, when I cracked up in my Viper 3-packs, there a lot of the heads were overly smushed down. I actually had to repop them out, and a lot of joints were loose and stuff as I was trying to build my army up. So they definitely were on the loose side.
Yeah, there's just some things, and again, that's a corporation that you're dealing with. I know it's not as easy when it's a small company, but it is disappointing because it is something like, hey, let's try and get it. So, Bobby, what do you think of this figure?
When you have the degradation of those molds, that's when they need to go back and redo them if they're going to use them so many different kinds.
Yeah.
So, I completely agree.
And onto the Viper, I would love to get a new Viper mold. There's nothing wrong with it.
Separate the vest and the belt. That's what
Yes.
I mean, you could still make it look the same for people that couldn't get the Vipers. Hell, and even the 3-pack now, like if you don't have a Ross around you, mine's 30 miles away. and I'm not driving 30 miles to find out, oh, it just looks like someone rampaged through it and there's nothing there. Good Lord, I've never. I mean, that place makes Walmart look like it's a Target. So, Bobby, what do you think of this figure?
I think it looks great. I didn't have. I'm trying to think of There was a Recondo in the Spy Troops era or Sound Attack era, what do you want to call it? Joe vs. Cobra. It was one of the few figures I didn't get, and then I had this version in the Assault on Cobra Island set that I never opened. I just stared at it and drooled at it, and then I got the Tiger Force version and Pursuit of Cobra, obviously, and then I got the Tiger Force version. Love it. I'm just hoping that the weapons are a little more sturdier, because with how I have my Recondo holding his rifle, it looks like an S. So
yeah, and I will say this: the last wave that came out, all the Python Patrol figures, the weapons are stiffer than they were before. Like, you can fully tell, which is good because they were way too soft. And that was something I had a discussion with, and it was pretty much said, like, the factory didn't want to do it for some reason. Again, looking at the box, Arron, what do you think of the box and the overall? I love the artwork, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, I love the artwork. Like you said, with the bubble pack, I think they could have shortened the length and maybe gotten the artwork to expand over the top of the bubble there. But they could have, like you said, I know what it's coming with. They just compacted that stuff a little more and got a little more card art on there. But yeah, and it looked from the Hasbro Pulse, Lenny was trying to bite the cardboard, so I know it's going to be super strong this time. It has that double wrap.
It's the same thing they do for the Marvel Legend. It made no sense why,
X-Men 97.
Yeah, Marvel Legends is using it. The Black Series is using it. Your own property, which you're paying less for, you're like, hey, you know what? I got some paper left. So it's some card stock. I got people that want to push like thicker shit through my fucking copier that it's not supposed to do than what they were giving us,
Yeah.
Lawrence, that just shows you how the management at Hasbro didn't have the faith in GI Joe, and how we proved them wrong.
Yeah, you're going to cheap out on some cardboard.
And again, that's another thing that other YouTubers, they use that to rile people up when they're smart enough and they know the reason why. It's like, don't get people riled up just because that's how you want to get people to tune in. You want to get everyone like talking, like, the reason. Just be honest with it. That's the type of shit that just bothers me. I gotta say, when I got this figure and I did the review and I had talked about the tape on it, I had talked to a few people that explained, and Bobby, you'll probably know, but you're on mute, so don't try and tell me. They explained the tape, like when you're in the jungle, it dampens when you're hitting leaves and stuff. Hey, did you ever do that, Bobby, at all?
No, I was always in like mountain areas, so I don't have any answers for that.
Yeah, they were saying that, like, in Vietnam, obviously you're all in the jungles. They said they would put duct tape or masking tape, whatever it is, over it, so when the leaves and branches would brush against it, it would dampen it, but it would sound more like the woods. So there was less chance of giving away your position or them just shooting at you. And I went, oh, that's very interesting, and something good to find. Same with the small pistol. People said when you're hunting like this, you carry a small pistol. They said it's actually very that is a real pistol, because everyone thought it was too small, and they were like, no, like that's someone in the jungle would use something like that. So
not everybody is born with a giant pistol. You got to take what you were given, just deal with it.
Well, here's a reality situation. I mean, I do a lot of hunting. I do a lot of bow hunting, but I always carry a sidearm because you'd never know when a coyote's going to run up on you, a bear or something. You should always have a sidearm, when you're out in the wild.
Listen, you're a martial artist. You have no problem taking down a bear.
I just jump on him and choke him.
Just take his back. All right. He has not been training in martial arts, so I don't want to hear shit that you lost to a bear. He's 800 pounds. So what, dude? Use his weight against him.
I will.
Isn't
I
that
will.
what martial artists say? Isn't
all
what
about-
everyone
all
that does
about
judo
leverage.
says? Use their weight against them.
Absolutely.
You know, just break his knee. You know, I watch Roadhouse. You hit someone in the knee, they go down.
Oh yeah.
Why are
Put the
bears
knee
different?
bar on them. It takes
All
a couple
right,
seconds to break a leg.
on to the 60th anniversary.
Oh,
I really wish they would have shown it with Torpedo, like some shots with Torpedo. I understand why they didn't, but you're just looking at this going, Torpedo has a SEAL team,
Yes.
and it's the same body, but I love the accessories. Arron, we'll start with you. What do you think of
I
this
love this figure, and the more swim, underwater teams that we get, I'm all for it because I'm just dying for wetsuit to come out and all that. And once we get everyone collaborated together, and I hope they're doing like backflips off of a whale later on in the future for GI Joe. But yeah, I'm stoked. He's great. I love both of these figures that they released there towards the end.
So I'll ask the chat: is there anyone that's going to buy Aquaman Seahorse to have a SEAL or Torpedo riding it? Because those are the photos we need to see. All right.
Yes.
Having one of these guys steal the Seahorse from Aquaman. Ryan, what are your thoughts on these?
I love these. I bought more than I should have, just so that I can make a SEAL team. So that's exactly what I'm waiting for. I'm going to remake Delta Force.
Well, as long as you bought 2, you already have 3 SEALs. Wetsuit's coming, so there's a 4 SEAL, a 4-team SEAL team right there. And I think what Pat from the Full Force has said numerous times, and I fully agree with, is, GI Joe, they have to have support staff. Not everyone has to be a named character. So I do love that. And again, just having the different heads and knowing you could throw a Snake Eyes head on here if the neck peg is the right peg. And then you have Snake Eyes getting out of the water. You obviously don't need to see him. You don't need to see all your figures in the water. You can see, what they're doing. But there's more than enough stuff. And I love all the different accessories that it comes with. Bobby, as someone who served in the military, did you ever have to do any type of water ops like this, or were you just?
We did a lot of drown proofing, and then we did the I can't think what they're called, the heavy rafts where you have to like stand on one side, and then you pull the rope and you jump into the water and it flips it back over.
Okay.
So that was about it for water ops stuff for me.
So there was no coming in under the water and.
Nope, not as an MP. Hell no.
Listen. I've seen SWAT how they go into places. You didn't do that as an MP?
Nope.
Wait, Bobby, you mean that all the TV shows and movies that showed the MP who was also Secret Special Forces trained CIA, they were all lying to me?
I don't want to say they are, but they are.
Rachel says depth charge, wetsuit, wet down, battle core, shipwreck, are all possibilities with some paint apps. Can we just stop saying that Shipwreck is a Navy SEAL? He's a fucking deck washer, and that is all he will ever be.
Ladies' man.
And Toy and Ken from Toy Connection wants to say Ryan did a great video on these earlier. So check it out. This is when you can promote your stuff, and I won't yell at you because you're on the stream with me. Yeah, I love this. I think most of us that didn't serve in the military, we think like, if I'm going to join, I'd be a Navy SEAL because they do all the special things and I'm that special. And we all realize like in real life, we would wash out in about 20 to 30 minutes. Once they make you sit in the water for that long and you're like, oh, no, that's okay. It's all right. I need to go get a Mountain Dew.
It's definitely a special breed.
So I do have to say here, this The spear gun better be a better quality. It had same with the MP5. Bobby, what are your thoughts on the soft weapons? You had the same issues, right?
Yeah, I don't think I have any of the. My eels do have them, but I know I bought a bunch of stuff from other companies to replace them for when I do my photography and stuff. So, but yeah, disappointing. The upgraded weapons, the added weapons are awesome. I'm glad we're getting a pistol with him, and then it has that suppressor that pegs into the weapon instead of Torpedo, who just kind of just had the rifle. So definitely like the upgrade.
Yes. Shipwreck parks bicycles on submarines. Give me a couple bicycles so I can do that now.
It's 12 scale.
All right. So when you look at this loadout, I do love the two faces. Again, you can really get away because obviously you can still have the mask on, but just having different faces is going to help out tremendously. It is one of those things that is.
Is it just a repainted torpedo head? So we'll have it in three different skin tones.
Well, okay, so Tony and I are disagreeing. I still think that I can't say it without saying blackface. The face that's painted black is Torpedoes. The paint apps are in a little bit different. I have a side by side. Tony says it's different. Have you guys looked at them? And what are your guys' thoughts? Are they the same head? They have the big nose. It's very. I mean,
I think it is just a repaint of Torpedo, and it's okay.
And it looks like they changed the eyebrows. They made them a little bit further. If it's not, it's really, really close.
And that might just be that face printing that they were talking about, the inkjet printing.
Yeah,
that allows them to make them look a little bit different.
Yeah,
but I think it is the same.
I mean, we would all have the exact same face on a selfie series, but they've tried to use different paint apps. So anyway, looking at this, here's the back of it. Clearly, we are getting what is that, a destroyer in the back? Classified destroyer. Next HasLab right there. About $1,700 backing. But I do love this. I also have to love the fact that this guy's running around with his MP5 fighting with his flippers on.
And his knife out. He's ready to go.
His knife. I didn't even catch that his knife was in his hand. But here's everything that he comes with. And I love the fact that it's just not a repaint, or it's not just a reuse of everything that Torpedo came with. Right. And there's new stuff in it. To me, that's the big thing. What do you guys think about his loadout? Aaron, what do you think?
I love it. I think it just looks like a ton of accessories, for the price that we're having to pay out for these. I'm glad it comes with that much gear. And the way that everything is in that dark tone manner, but it's still highlighted with different grays and greens. I think they did a good job with the color.
Yeah, Bobby, what do you think? All right, Ryan, what do you think? That's what Bobby thinks.
Again, I like the fact that they have the rebreather with it instead of the backpack that came with Torpedo. I like they have the vest loadout too. The little submarine thing I think is an awesome accessory to add on. I like and the dog tags. I think the dog tags are pretty cool as well.
Yes, that was something some people may not have caught, but every 60th anniversary is going to have dog tags.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure people have already complained. I like the fact that they come with Snake Eyes'
the demo
pack. Because that's a lot of things that you'd be doing if you were going in, you'd be setting explosives and stuff. So I think that fits perfectly with it. Bobby, what do you think of everything that this thing comes with? You're on mute.
Every time. I think it looks awesome. I'm really curious to see how this whole modular, same with the action soldier we're going to see, but the thing next to the satchel that pegs into his stomach piece right there, and the web gear, then the mask that pegs into the web gear and stuff. I'm just hoping it's going to be easy to use and easy to peg in and peg out.
Yeah, and this is a perfect thing where it's like you might be able to get a quick kick and get him into this outfit, because you could see him swimming if it's nice weather, going in with his with his swords and everything. But yeah, I'm so really excited for this figure. And yes, guys, it is running late. If anyone is going to need to jump off, just let me know. But we did do it on Friday. You guys all shouldn't have to work on Saturdays, right?
That's right.
I know at least one person does, but all right. Bobby, we're going to start with you. You served in the Army.
I can't wait for this figure to come out. I'm going to do an hour-long video about it and tear apart his uniform, and I'm going to roll around my backyard and show some horrible firing stances and stuff. So I'm really excited for it, and just talk about how unrealistic his uniform is for this fictitious character figure. So, but ultimately, I'm really excited for it. I think it looks awesome. I know a lot of people keep comparing it to Valiverse, but I guess they missed the 60th anniversary tag. So, but I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome, especially with like all the different gear, the slimmer vest and everything. I'm curious, do we know what head sculpt that is? That masked head sculpt yet? Has anyone pieced that together?
I don't think it's anyone's. I think it's just
like a reuse from a previous masked head.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's been reused by anyone,
because there's no line work like you have in the Storm Shadow or whatnot.
Right.
So I want to piggyback off what you said, where people say, "Hey, you know what? This is them taking a shot at Valiverse." I'm sorry, this is a military figure. I understand why some people kind of are mentioning that, but it's a military figure. And even the Valiverse stuff, they're a little futuristic. They're supposed to be a little bit in the future. But I can see why some people want to compare it, but it's just a military figure. It's your support staff. Not everyone is going to be a named person. We saw it. And I think that's better than just giving us a regular green shirt. Ryan, what do you think of this figure?
So I want to add to that. So this is the 60th anniversary for GI Joe.
Yes.
The Valiverse is based off of GI Joe. Bobby was a collector of GI Joe. Bobby worked on the GI Joe line. He said he knew they were coming out, and that's why he created Action Force. It's a soldier. It's a 60th anniversary figure that looks awesome. That's all that matters. Why the hell do we have to have the team sport for action figure lines? Buy the toys that you like and put them in your collection and let other people enjoy what they enjoy.
I love that. Why do you have to have a team sport for action figures? I love that. That is, you nailed it, man. I wish I would have had that line when I was talking about the people that have an issue with like 6-inch figures and the 4-inch figures. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we've all collected Valiverse, and so I think we've all had it in our hand. I'm not sure, Aaron, if you've ever collected it or had any of them, but they're completely different figures. And again, this is just a generic figure. So, what do you think of this, Ryan? What do you think of the poncho that he's wearing?
So I wasn't real sold on the poncho, and I know Lenny was really excited about it. And I'm just like, he's like, oh, it's kind of like a raincoat. So I'm thinking it's going to be this really. If you collected WWE figures, you get this pleather looking stuff for some of the figures. And I'm like, please don't be pleather. Please don't be pleather. Mm-hmm. But looks like it's just cloth. So I think it's cool. I like the modular vest more so than anything else. Being able to swap those pieces around and move them around. I think that's what's going to be really cool about this particular figure.
I knew I was going to regret this. So if they do it like Mythic Legions, and anyone that has a Mythic Legions will know, I'm gonna make myself big because I'm so popular here. If they're able to do it like this, so he has the soft goods, but they integrate the hood, which is not soft, where it looks very natural. You don't really notice unless you're looking close.
Is it a separate
it's
piece?
not all one piece.
I like that.
And again, it's I don't know how to make myself small again.
That's what you said.
Not that I don't see myself looking like that every single week, but and again, this is a $55 figure. Son of a bitch. If they can do that, then I'll be extremely happy with it because Mythic Legions does a wonderful job, and I think that's what they were trying to go for. Aaron, what do you think of?
When I first heard about the soft goods rumor of this figure and everything, I was really worried about, like, are they going to do soft good pants? Are they going to do soft good jacket? And the only reason is because when I'm thinking soft goods, I'm thinking capes, hoods, like the poncho. That's great. I love the way they went with it, because if it was like, if we're going back to old school GI Joes where we got the soft good pants and shirts coming out, I really think it would, like, a lot of people wouldn't be into it. But as far as the soft goods and everything, I think they did a great job.
I don't know, Bobby has the Mezcos. I'm going to disagree, because if you do the soft goods right, they look amazing.
Right.
The Mezco are phenomenal. I mean, you're paying for that though. So.
Yeah,
And
you are
don't get me wrong, there are soft goods that are
Yeah.
better quality, but it's a fine line. I mean, just for me, in my opinion, fine line in between that of my purchase.
Yeah, so Odin says, I didn't look closely enough, but I hope the poncho has seams somewhere like Mindbender Suspender's cape where you can slide wires in. Yeah, but
It does have a pocket.
Yeah, but if you Mindbender and Serpentor, you can slide a wire through the side of the cape to make it look like it's flowing. But a poncho is going to sit down on you, really. You're not really going to get it flowing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can understand what you're going for, but I don't think that's something that you would
Have them
need.
stand in that hurricane wind.
Yeah. I thought the action shots that they did were amazing. Now, I did have to do a double check because I was like, is there a magazine in this pistol that I didn't notice? Because it looks like that's what he's doing, right? He looks like he's loading his pistol. All right, so this here. Have any of you been able to get a shot with someone that low on the ground like that? Because I look at that Mezco Roadblocks machine gun, and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to pose it like that. And this looks very natural. I also had a gridiron one that someone let me review, and it was too low. And then I see this, and I'm like, this looks perfect.
Yeah.
So I love this shot here. I don't know, Bobby, if you've been able to get any shots like this.
I barely tried with that. As soon as I put that bipod or tripod together for Roadblock, and I was like, yeah, not a chance. And then I took it apart and put it back in the backpack.
Yeah,
So
I guess if you
it kind of looks like there's some like photography, like trickery. It does look like the weapon is slightly higher than the figure's butt.
Yeah.
That's like covered in the dirt, so you can't really see it. But I think if you could pull this off, it'd look fantastic.
I know. So now, now I'm looking at that, the 50 cal going, all right, I got to figure out how to do this on the Roadblock Mezco.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Out of all the other figures we've had, it seems like it would be hard to get that kind of style crunch in a figure.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
that's exactly what I thought. Ryan, what do you think? Have you been able to do something like this in yours?
Not when they have that vest on. You can't get them to crunch like that. But the figures that don't have that vest, you can get them into poses like that. But again, the guy who does their figure photography is he's next level. So I think you can make it work. But I don't. If you can get them in that position, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm with you. And again, I think it looks amazing. I just love that shot. So here's a better look at the poncho. Now this one doesn't have the hood over it, and I think it looks good. And Lenny did point out that there is a pocket in the front, so you can put magazines in it or walkie
Candy.
talkies. I still fear that they're just gonna fall out the moment you like move it around.
It would have been cool to throw some little MREs in there with them.
Frozen
Yeah.
bungee bars from Quick Kick.
Yeah.
I don't know how long they're gonna be frozen. This shot now, I am not a big fan of this. I know it's a real rifle. Before anyone tells me it's not, it's not real. I do understand, like, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but the rifle looks really good, except for the double barrels. Bobby, what do you think? Considering you're a true military guy,
I hate that rifle because the foregrip comes off as soon as you put it in a figure's hands.
Yep.
But,
yeah. Mine's floating around. Yeah. I'm trying not to lose it.
It is a goofy looking. I'm surprised they didn't put that M16 we saw with Grunt or Scarlet into this one because I feel like it would have been perfect here, and no one would have second guessed it.
And Sergeant Reds, my local store says MREs are the best. Okay, I'm lying. And before anyone wonders, he goes by Sarge because he was a sergeant in the military. So,
and Bobby, I think they couldn't put that M16 in there because they're using it on other figures in production. So this might have been one of those ones where you go, maybe we push one of these figures so we can get that M16 or hell, an M4 or something with this figure.
Yeah, I just wish that M4 wouldn't just be the double barrel. It would have been everything else looks really good, and then you see the double barrels, and you're like, I don't really care for it that much.
Look, even an ugly gun needs love once in a while, so
just give him the 249. That's all he needs.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are two holes for a reason. So,
anyways,
just always ask one. All right. Just a few more shots here. Here's his complete loadout. The back of it. Now, are we going to get tents? I mean, they need to start making some of this stuff, right? Put them up on Pulse. It's going to sell.
Outpost Defender.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah. Yep. Here's just a shot of him. They did a good job of throwing the picture up that is on the back there.
Can you go back to the front of the package real quick? So if in the bottom left corner it says Action Soldier, then it says Infantry, kind of like we see Cobra, and then we see whatever Cobra character we get. So I wonder if they're going to give us variations of the Action Soldier down the line. The Diver was the same way. It said Action Sailor, then it said Recon Diver. So
you know what? That's a Ryan, do you have anything in Lenny's Duster that you see?
Because I know we're due for a Marine and a pilot, so maybe the Marine will get the dress uniform as a version or whatever. So
no dress uniform. They can't do a dress uniform. And that's just because the Marine Corps, they could do it in, I think it was 87 when that Gung Ho came out. But now it just costs so much they would have to pay to do that. I hope at some point they go, let's just bite the bullet and do it for a San Diego Comic-Con or something. But I know that there's supposed to be 4 of these figures: the Marine, the pilot, the soldier, and then the sailor. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of these come out.
Someone, I don't remember if it was on my stream or I was on someone else when we were talking about it. And someone brought up the about getting the dress blues, and I'm like, I don't want the dress blues unless if you did a 4-pack of all the 4 divisions or the 4 branches all in their dress uniforms. Now that would be really cool. That'd be a great Comic-Con exclusive or Pulse exclusive, something like that, where you don't need it, but then you would have every figure, every branch in their dress uniforms. And to me, I think, again, I know the Marines and the Army are are pretty similar, but the Marines are the only ones that really stand out. The Marines and then the Navy are really the only ones for their dress uniforms to me that stand out. Like when someone said, "Hey, dress uniform for the military," first one I'm going to think about is the Marines because of that blue, and then you're going to think of the Navy because you've seen so many, you know, military movies and officers wearing it.
Right.
So, and I know there's probably some military and Army guys in here that are going to disagree, and Bobby might disagree, but to me, it's just like those are more iconic than the other ones.
Oh, yeah, everyone thinks that when you think of, I know Marines are Marines and soldiers are soldiers, but when you think of soldiers, you think of that Marine dress uniform. So definitely.
Yeah. So here you can see now Lenny talked about how the pouches are going to be removable. You can swap it around and everything. You can even put loadouts on the back. So this is something that is really different. And I like it that all these pouches can be swapped so you can make your own figure. And obviously, if you're going to buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, you can change out your loadout. And as we know, because we watch you've watched so many different, YouTube things with guys that were in the Army or, Army, Air Force, whatever. Sorry, not Air Force. They don't really have infantry, do they? People are going to carry things in different spots because it's easier for them. So I love the fact that they did this. Hopefully they don't become loose and they just fall out. But what do you guys think of that concept?
Marauders has been doing it for forever. Having that modular vest that you could, build your figures out the way that you want them to. A little crazy glue, and they're stuck in there, so you can definitely, personalize your figures the way you want. I think it's just you can have one molded vest now, and then just change it out to different pieces, and people should be happy. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think it was a extremely smart of Hasbro, and to just make it more versatile like that, and like maybe we can see some weapon or action packs, out later on in the line that brings some new diversity to whatever they're holding or carrying. Accessory packs was a big thing when I was a kid. I would love to see something like that come back, and this is a perfect way to set it up and put it into play.
And they are missing out on a ton of easy money by not doing that.
Yes.
There are people that specifically only buy Valiver's product for the guns because they're inexpensive, but they look really good, and they hold up. Bobby, what do you think?
I think it's pretty good. However, if you want that slick vest, I think I'm all for the modular vest and stuff. But if you want that slick vest, that front, like think of Grunt, for example. If you pop that little screen off his chest, you got that hole there.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if there's going to be some kind of maybe plug or something that we can maybe see down the line, or just smaller.
Yeah, that's
smaller pouches. If you want that thinner vest look. But otherwise, I think it's awesome. I think it's going to look great. You can set your guys up how you want, shooter's preference or whatever you want to call it. So I'm all for it.
All right. So quickly, I want to B-Boy. These are coming out in May and April.
Spring?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. So make sure your bank account is good to go. And then Mr. Mad Gus says, Punk, this may sound weird, but do you want to see him try Kung Fu Grip? I do not. The early, when you're talking about Kung Fu Grip, you're talking about this, right? That, the Fortnite figures, the Jazzware Fortnite figures tried it, and the hands never seem to hold anything properly. So, what do you guys think of it? Ryan, what do you think?
Go ahead, Aaron.
That
it's hard. I think it's hard to get a spring-loaded mechanism in the hand that small to make it a functional aspect.
Ryan, what do you think?
I think if you're making any type of adjustment to the hands, they go with what they did for the Indiana Jones. So there's a peg that goes into the wrist, and then there's a ball joint that goes to the hand. So the hand has motion all the way around. So it's not just an up or down or in or out. That would be the only upgrade I would do for any of these action figures is put that ball joint in for the hands. But Kung Fu grip, but you get those extra hands most of the time you end up in a bag in whatever drawer you store all your action figures hands in, because unless you're taking pictures that day, they're going up on the shelf with what they have. So
Yeah, I'm with you there. Bobby, do you have any opinion on that?
No, not much. Like I don't see it happening. Maybe we'll see like you already get the C grip hands. It looks like you already get the already trigger hands. So unless they just do just this hand, the cupping hand or whatever kind of, I don't think we're gonna see it.
Yeah,
But going off of Sarge's comment with the flocked real hair and going back to my thing with the seeing other versions, I think this opens the door for the adventure team.
I
In a
actually
6-inch
thought
version.
I actually thought that was something we were going to get before this. Like I thought that's what they were going to do. And if we do need something flocked, we can ask Random Diorama. He flocks stuff all the time. Or Ed, who isn't here. He's on vacation, I believe. They flock like crazy. The only person that does not want flocking is for sure is Robo, because he absolutely hates flocking from the Foosh. The loadout here, we already kind of discussed it. I don't know how you could complain about it, but Bobby, what do you think?
It's a lot of good stuff. Outback's backpack's pretty solid. Big Ben's little AR's lame, but hopefully this one's better. Hopefully this one's a little bit stronger. That 249 is awesome. I'm not sure if we've seen that pistol before. Have we seen it with Rock and Roll?
I don't know. I used the pistol so infrequently. That's not Rock and Roll's pistol. I think that is a new one.
And then you got the rear trigger for it. Looks like you could pick up the 50 cal. Maybe that plugs into the back and you take the butterfly handle off. So
yeah, that's what Lenny did say, that you could do that.
okay,
Yeah.
so
The double would pull out, and then you could do it to, carry the 50 by, standing.
I think people are going to buy a ton of these. I think they're going to look great. And then we get a different color stand. So it's something. So what color was the stand for the divers? Anyone remember?
Oh, that's a great
I
question.
think they're black.
Yep.
Black. So.
Yeah, black.
So yeah, we get something different color. Mix things up a little bit. So
Again, why does the diver need a stand when he has flippers? He's not going to fall over. I have to say, the one thing I absolutely loved about this, if you even bought multiple, you can have this set up now with these machine guns all around your display. Whereas like they're just being ready to use when need be. You don't have to have someone carrying it around. It is nice that they made the handle so you can carry it. Pretty much just saying, hey, here's your roadblock, mod deuce if you want it. It's gonna be the closest thing we're gonna make for you. But yeah, I love this. Aaron, what do you think of all these weapons?
I love it. Anytime a character comes with more than a couple guns is always a plus, and that helmet is amazing with the tinted lenses on it. I know there's probably a more technical, better name for that, but I think it's going to come into play for a lot of customs, and it's a great loadout. I have no complaints.
And then Ryan, your thoughts?
I just love this figure. Again, I bought multiples that I probably didn't need, but I just think it's just a great figure to have. And
I hope when you bought them, you got them from either EE or BBTS.
Not all of us were that lucky.
I saw it on BBTS right away. I didn't notice that it was on EE because, just so you know, because I have these affiliate accounts with Amazon and stuff, I wanted to get them out. EE is really easy. Good luck finding shit on Amazon. But luckily, someone had posted all of them, so I could just click their links to do it. And then someone sent me over that they were 25 on EE. I'm like, oh yeah, I've already ordered a couple, but I thought they were talking about BBTS. And then I noticed EE had made the mistake. I looked at Amazon. Amazon sure didn't make the mistake, nor did Pulse. But so far, like the order on BBTS is held. Like it hasn't changed. So
has the EE orders changed? Does anyone know? I had them in my cart, but I couldn't log in to my EE account. So by the time I was able to log in, it changed it back, and I was like, yeah, I'm not from EE.
I'm not sure. That I'm not sure about. I'll find out if Shark Eyes is here. I think he ordered a few of them. He should be able to tell us. Look, Chaz the Guru has showed up there. Dangerous, close to Dow territory. All right, so we made it through all these figures. Now let's get into the last 4 figures. I know you guys are staying a long time. I appreciate it.
This is where I'm gonna leave though, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, man.
All good. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, thank
Thanks
you for
that.
joining. Listen, if you're not following Bobby B, make sure you jump down, click on his links.
Great
and
reviews.
Give him a follow.
Thanks,
Brian,
Bobby.
are you going to be able to stick around? I know you said.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's
Okay.
keep going.
I do apologize. Listen, hell, if I can go 3 hours on my own, imagine if I put 3 other people on.
I'm gonna be sitting here till 2 a.m. just tinkering with dioramas anyway. So
yeah, you know what? I got shit to do in the morning, but I don't have to be up at 6 o'clock. So
right.
All right. So I'm not gonna lie, these next 4 are in the order of what I like most or from least to most. So you can kind of figure out how I feel about things. Big Boa. This is a figure that I did not have as a kid. I didn't ask for it. Now it was towards the end of my time, but I just thought it was stupid. Ryan, what do you think about Big Boa?
I was not excited about this figure until the packaging leaked and I saw the figure and I'm like, yeah, I'll buy him. I like him. I had him as a kid. He was one of those crazy Cobra figures. And I just think it will just be fun to pose around and put in different dials and stuff. So I think I'm going to make him a Dreadnok.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks good. I don't think there's a reason for an alternate head. He should just have the mask. I don't think this was one that people were like, I need to know what he looks like. And I'm not a big fan of the head sculpt as it is. I think there's going to be very few people using that head sculpt other than showing him beat up. I think this should have been a deluxe and came with like a good punching bag, a weight bench, stuff like that. I really wish they could cross over and use some other stuff. That's unfortunate that they don't do that. But I understand why. Different divisions, different teams and stuff like that. Arron, what do you think of this?
I'm basically the same way you are with the punching bag and the weight bench. I mean, I'll obviously have to design and make these things, but I did have Big Boa as a kid, and I remember taking them out of the package and putting those Cobra gloves on them, and that was a cool part because I don't think we had many Joes that even did that, where you put something on the actual hands and like boxing gloves. So that's why I liked it as a kid, and he's just one of those crazy characters. But yeah, I think they missed the mark with the punching bag. That was a key element that it should have been incorporated.
And I would have wanted like a real punching bag with like where it's hanging over. I don't
want
like
a heavy bag. Yeah.
Which exactly. And again, it wouldn't have been that hard. And when you are going down that road of giving dioramas to people, this was your total workout. Now, don't get me wrong. You want a weight bench. I believe Ollie's has that Fortnite figure where you can get a weight bench and everything. And
okay. Yeah. Hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And I think that one is at Ollie's. Ryan, okay. Do you know?
You're looking for it.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why he's not a deluxe figure.
Yeah.
Because when they did come out with some of that stuff, people are like, I'm not spending that money for that, figure. Where, I mean, for $25 with all the stuff that you get for him, I'm like, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I get that. Now,
but I agree. I would have loved to seen a punching bag or something to come with him. Definitely.
The punching bag is the thing I remember him with. That's what seems really weird. Like
it was a key element.
Yeah. But they gave him the MMA gloves, then they gave him the boxing gloves. And again, I would have rather seen a punching bag style rather than a second head. Or even the weights. Although I do love the weights because I think that's going to be great for any of your figures working out and shit. But of
Yes.
course, now you're going to be looking at like, well, I need a whole set of them.
Yes. I mean,
Who's
I'm
gonna
going to
make
put
me a
those
set?
weights right into Roadblock's hands. I mean, right when I get them. I'm gonna...
Yeah. But yeah, and then we get to these shots here. Now, I like the fact that they changed up the scenes. I don't understand the cage. Now, I understand for Big Boa and Quick Kick the cage. I'm not sure I understand the other ones, but we'll get into that a little bit. But the photography looks awesome. It is kind of odd seeing that Big Bo was like basically getting beat up throughout this. And I also noticed he is using Gung Ho's arms.
Yes.
Still has the pins.
Yeah.
Now I know people hate this, and I wish they would go away from it too. But understand, like Marvel Legends still uses bodies from 10 years ago. They're gonna continue to use parts from other, from other waves for many years to come. So people just deal with it. Again, if the pins were white and he has like sleeves on and they're black, then yeah, I understand why you bitch about it. But this is not that big of a deal. But you do think like, all right, I think most people thought they'd be away with it, but when you start looking at how toys are made, people use the same parts for many, many years because that's how you get monies out of it, right?
Yeah. Big part of toy making.
And Ryan, I think you can probably comment on that better than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is, like, Lenny is building a tooling library. So when they make one figure, they look at how many other figures can use these parts. And what we all continue to forget is Hasbro's $1 billion company. But the Joe brand has a budget that's based off the sales from the previous year. And then he has to base off all of the figures that they want to build off that budget. And now you have Walmart exclusives, you have Target exclusives, you have retro cards, you have convention sets, and then you have your regular releases. So they have to figure out, how do we get the most figures out to fans and stay within our budget so that we can keep creating new tooling for some of these other figures that we'll see down the road. They're pins. They're toys. I mean, come on.
And again, where pins are a problem is when there is a split of color across
Spider-Man.
there, and it's always it's the same. That's when you see a problem. Again, people talk about again, this is, I know people hate the ab crunch and they want the same type of body that like the Valaverse is, and other than Serpentor, the first one that they throw it on is Bazooka, and you're like, that's the one you shouldn't have, because when you move it, now the numbers break. That's the one you should not have done it on. You should have started with someone else. Right. That was just my personal opinion. But yeah, with pins, again, it's not that big of a deal. Other than if there's like paint down it and it splits and you can see it actually move. So, but yeah, so yeah, I do like the figure, how it looks. I just, again, I'm going to end up buying him. Well, he's already ordered.
Ditto that.
But again, there's a lot of figures that I bought that, in my opinion, I would rather not have them. I would rather have someone else. But I'm not one of those crybabies that doesn't understand the reason why they're doing this. And, like, we're going to get all the Dreadnoks, right? I mean, Ryan said, hey, I would rather have some other Dreadnoks before Xandar, but you realize we're getting them all eventually.
Yeah.
Right. It's just me being a little selfish that I'd rather have other ones first.
And what tooling do you have? How much do they have for the budget? And if they can use, like, let's say Zartan's body for Xandar and only have to tool up a new head, then yeah, go ahead and do it. It makes sense at that point.
Yeah, and my thing is, and this was, this is getting off topic, and this is why we go for 18 hours. Or I do. When people complain about all the snake eyes that we've been getting, and we did get a lot of snake eyes, you have to understand, if they weren't, in my opinion, if they weren't giving us new figures, then yeah, then you have a complaint. but you don't have to buy all the Snake Eyes. But they're still giving us all these new characters. Yes, sure. Some of them maybe repaints to make a new character, but that's, I mean, you look at Valiverse, they have $3.50 right now. Obviously, there's a new line, a new wave coming out that is going to extend his line. But when you start looking at Masters of the Universe, they use the same parts over and over and over. A good toy maker, a good toy line is going to be able to find a way to use all of those to create new characters, and I think they've done a wonderful job here with Classified.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole pin thing, I just kind of wanted to point on that because so many people have an issue. I do like these shots here. He's just kind of punching his fist together. This guy does amazing work. To put him in this little ring, again, just it does a lot. They're able to make Quick Kick look like he's a badass, and we know he's not. We'll get to Quick Kick later.
I don't know. He did a number on Storm Shadow one time.
That was the cartoon. Oh, you haven't been watching enough. You know the best thing that Quick Kick ever did, right?
What's that?
Get his ass beat by Storm Shadow. Read the comic. Storm Shadow breaks in and pretty much laughs at him while he's beating him.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now. I have not read all the comics. I got a pile of them laying on my nightstand. I try to catch up with them now and then, but I have not read them all.
The story arc between I want to say the late 30s into the 50s of A Real American Hero is just, to me, that's your quintessential GI Joe. It tells so much. And that's when I was reading it as a kid, but that's when you really find out who Storm Shadow is, Snake Eyes.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, and Rachel says that I want the next Snake Eyes to be Don Moreno. I would be perfectly fine with that because it wouldn't be another Snake Eyes. I understand it would be but it wouldn't be another Snake Eyes. It would be a whole new character that isn't Snake Eyes, and they could repaint her 400 times.
Truth.
And Todd C says, Larry Hama hated Quick Kick. He also hated Shipwreck. I like Larry Hama. What a great name he has. Okay. I didn't even realize I hit that down south. Rachel, I hope this doesn't make you tune off and never tune in again, but you are absolutely right. Billy before any other new character. And Lenny laughed at me when I said it, but I'm like, no. Billy needs to be in the G.I. Joe Classified. You need to find a way to put him in the O-ring. You need to put him in the 4-inch. Where I know he was made in a 4-inch, I believe, but why Billy has been overlooked is still aggravating to me. Anyway, let's get to this because I think Ryan wants to eventually go to sleep. So here's everything that he comes with. He does seem kind of light on accessories, although they are all new tooling. Like, you can't say that those accessories aren't new tooling. 2 new heads, 4 new fists, and dumbbells, which we'll probably see dumbbells used more because you're not just going to use it for one character. What do you guys think about with what you get with this figure, Ryan?
It's $25. I'll take it all day. It's a wave you look at now. You have to look at the wave of the figures that you get. Some figures are going to come with more than others, but it's just the way that it is. That's how toys are made. Look at Marvel Legends.
Yep. Aaron, what do you think?
Like he said, for $24, it's great for what it is. I think they could have bumped them up into the next bracket by putting the bag and the bench in, but those are things that were probably easy to make and are easy to obtain. Like you said, there's a Fortnite, so I think it's a good little price point for what it is. I think he'll sell well.
Yeah,
obviously, since I believe he's sold out, right?
No, I think he was still there.
Was he?
So Cade,
he's still up.
Flash is coming because they've already tooled his laser, so Flash is coming.
Yes.
And then with Flash is going to come the other figures that look very similar to him, or you would assume.
Slam.
you
Yeah.
get these repaints, Tiger Force, right by the original because the tooling's already going. They already got the
Yeah.
mold going. It's easier to do it.
Aaron, you're right. He did sell out.
Yeah, your Big Bow is gone. If you haven't got them now, it's you're gonna have to snatch them up at another place.
Listen,
Hasbro sold out.
to all the people that are only looking on Amazon and Hasbro Pulse, again, prove my point that a lot of G.I. Joe collectors are just G.I. Joe collectors. They're not toy collectors. Go to Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth. People that complain that Amazon sends them with a sticker slapped on it and you're pissed off about it, order from BBTS or Entertainment Earth or Hella Dope Toys or Nerdzoic. They will box it properly and you don't have to worry about it.
And if you do get those stickers on your boxes, you can gently heat them up with a hairdryer, and they sometimes do come off really nice.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, when Amazon's, the only one I had they did it to was Kamakura, where it just was slapped on it and thrown in my fucking mailbox. And I keep all my boxes, but luckily my 3D printer, he doesn't keep it. So he's like, "You want my box?" I'm like, "Thank you very much." All right. So here's the back of the box. I don't really see any Easter eggs in this. I know this is making people want Rocky. I don't think we're going to get Rocky, considering Stallone won't even be in a Rocky movie anymore because of all the issues. So I don't think you're going to see him be able to give his likeness to G.I. Joe.
But he was so close to getting in there back in the day.
Yeah, I mean he's in the comic there. So, and then here's just a better look at everything that he has. And if you want to have, let's say, we use Dodgeball when they got the wrong suits. If you want to have a scene like that, you have Dr. Mindbender you can use. You have this guy now. You have a few gimps that you could use. How even his mask is very gimpy.
Was that Snake Eyes version 3 that had the
Yes. Yeah, you have to go read that comic if you want to know. Yeah. All right. Quick Kick. I think I already kind of said my piece on Quick Kick. He is, I don't know. I knew this figure was coming. People love him, just like Shipwreck. I knew was coming. Aaron, what do you think of Quick Kick?
I'm super stoked with him. When I can finally put Bazooka, Quick Kick, and Alpine together, I will be a happy individual. That is for sure. I do not like his nunchucks, but I understand why they are the way they are, and Hasbro has yet to give us a real chain on a nunchuck. But other than that, I was really happy with like the tooling on the feet that they did. I'm impressed. I was really worried because, of course, you're going to see his torso as much as we do, and I was kind of nervous about that. But I think they did a good job.
Yeah. So okay. Now, if you look here, it looks like they made the butterfly cut really deep, which is good because it needs it, especially if he's going to be like swinging a sword and stuff. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Quick Kick?
I love Quick Kick, so this was one that I'm like, yep, I'm buying it. I'm going to swap out his weapons for something from Gridiron, so I'm already making plans for what I'm going to change out on him. But
so I do like
the only thing I'm upset about is Bazooka, Alpine, and him will not fit underneath his tank, so they can ride to the Secret Cobra base. That's about the only thing I'm upset about. So
I like the throwing stars. It's something different that they're going to do. I wish they would have done this with, Storm Shadow. I wish. Why do we have nunchucks on people, but Storm Shadow doesn't have his nunchucks? I know I say figures don't need to be the exact same, but it is a ninja weapon. It's pretty iconic to ninjas. Now, I know they talked about the feet and everything, but if you have the Marvel Legends Shang-Chi or the Marvel Legends Legion, which are the same feet, they look amazing, and they actually stand really well, which is shocking because they're bare feet. This is where you really wish they could kind of just cross over and use parts. They do not use parts from any other line. None of them do. And I think Matthew will kind of agree here. I think the Shang-Chi actually looks like a better quick kick than this. But I mean, I ordered them obviously. I do think that everything looks pretty good here. The sidekick, you know, uh, but I'm just not. I've never liked quick kick, but I like the fact that they updated the to give him two swords, two sets of nunchucks, the frozen fudgy. I know that's a big, huge thing that everyone absolutely
Gotta
loves.
have the fudgy bar.
Yeah, and again, I like some aspects from the cartoon. I just don't when it comes to the actual canon. I'm like, listen, it's like if George Lucas didn't say it happened in Star Wars, then it didn't happen. If Larry Hama doesn't agree with it, then I'm sorry. That's not the lore. He is the George Lucas of GI Joe. I mean, I don't know how many people would actually disagree with that. And again, you can hate it all you want, but there are a lot of people that didn't read the comic. They know it from the cartoon, and that's why they get mad, and they don't realize that's why none of the O-rings look like the cartoon because it's not what it's based off of.
Yes, I'm definitely a cartoon-based individual when it comes to GI Joe.
So, because I have it here, I also have another shot of it. You can see the nunchucks can be plugged in, and it was kind of odd the way Lenny talked about it, and it was kind of like you realize you did the same thing with nunchuck too, right? But everyone's waiting for nunchuck to come out. So if you don't have nunchuck, you don't realize he can do the exact same thing. And there are two different belts because I was looking at them to make sure. But I love this shot here where he's just kind of meditating. Again, he looks like Quick Kick. He's as classic as he can be, other than the backpack and stuff. But it is one that if they didn't make it, I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't have lost any sleep over.
Yeah, Quick Kick is great.
Yeah, he's
They did a good job.
I loved when Storm Shadow. Actually, this is pretty much the exact same shot of Storm Shadow doing to him. Ryan, you know it. I know Tony knows it. Anytime someone talks about Quick Kick, I usually go and get that panel and I put it on there and I go, "This is the best thing Quick Kick ever did," and it's just Storm Shadow kicking him in the face. But what do you think about the accessories that they're giving him? Ryan, you already said that you're going to change things out. But what don't you like about what he has?
I want chains on the nunchucks, and I want them to be black. The swords that Gridiron's put out, I think, are a little bit better too. But it's just look. I customize my figures to the way that I like them, and I'm not knocking these. It's just I see a different vision for a Quick Kick compared to what they give him.
No, and again, I think that's again, just because you're looking at purchasing Gridiron because you want something a little different, it doesn't mean you're putting it down. You're just saying, hey, you know what? I want something a little bit different. I want to put my own stamp on it. Arron, what do you think about the weapons that he comes with?
I'm the exact same way. I'm very disappointed that we can't get a chain on all these nunchucks that are coming out when Super 7 can spit it out, or a lot of other toy companies can make these nunchucks. But I think that's a small item that wouldn't cost too much, and they're missing a big point on the nunchucks. Other than that, I was happy with the swords and whatnot, but that was the only downfall of the weapons.
And I'm glad they're painted. But I will say this, with nunchuck, the nunchucks are soft. And, so it is flexible. So you really don't notice. I wish the nunchucks would have at least been painted, silver or something different. So the chain looked a little bit different. Because that's probably my biggest complaint on that figure. Is that it's very plain. They don't really touch on too many of the weapons. So, and I just put this picture in here. So, if you weren't watching the stream, you can see there's 4 little ports in the back. There 4 little holes. That's how you plug the nunchucks in. And like I said, nunchuck has the exact same thing, though they are different belts though, because nunchuck's belts actually hold his swords too. So I did double check that because I was like, is it the same? So the other set, what do you guys think of the heads? Because I've already heard people complaining, saying that it's another Falcon head. Arron, what do you think?
Now that I'm looking a little closer at it, his mouth does look a little weird. And to be honest, I'm just now noticing it's a little out of size. Is his mouth out of size? What is it going on
I
there?
don't know. They zoomed in and he just kind of had that pudgy face, but
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it,
you know, and I was about to say, well, Falcon was known as this really good-looking guy, but he was also a guy on film sets, so he should be a good-looking guy.
charming.
Ryan, what do you think of him?
You
Does
know,
the face sculpt bother you?
no, I don't. Falcon's head sculpt doesn't bother me. It's a toy. Like if we look at the Real American Hero line, I mean, we had guys that had red eyes, red eyebrows, and red hair, or blonde eyes, blonde eyebrows, and blonde hair, and we're throwing a fit over this. It is what it is. I mean,
Oh no,
I don't.
no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't. I think there's just other things that I could be upset about more so than this. I think it looks good though.
I don't really have a
I
problem
think for
with
quick,
it.
this is going to be good.
I don't have a
You
problem
know,
with this one until someone pointed out. I'm going to disagree with you on Falcon because even the designer will tell you that it's awful and he hates it.
Well, we know the reason why
Oh,
Falcon's head looks the way that it does.
yeah,
So
he told me the whole story. It was a very in-depth story, and there was multiple issues with it.
Yeah.
But it's an awful looking head. It is an awful looking face. But I have it in my display. You know, I do use it. So anyway, all right. So this next figure, I would have thought this would have been my number one, but the other one just really pops. I loved Airborne as a kid.
Yes.
I always felt like not a lot of people loved Airborne, and as I've gotten older, it seems like there's so many people that just love this figure. I was more than happy to pick up the Valaverse fake Airborne Condor. And before anyone jumps down my throat, understand that Airborne, I believe, in Brazil or Argentina is named Condor. So it is supposed to be Airborne. Very similar colors. And I was excited to see this figure. What I'm not excited for is the gun. God, does it bother me.
Didn't he come with like an M16?
He had that M16 with a different stock, but he had the bayonet on it.
That's right.
This is the gun that came with. Yep, that's his. This is the gun that comes with Firefly, but is really supposed to be Beachhead's gun.
Yep.
Okay.
So Ryan, I'm going to start with you. What do you think of this figure?
I love this figure. I'm excited for this figure. I think it looks great. It's a great reuse of parts. Again, the gun, I'm not going to use it. I already got a gun that I'm going to put in there instead. But he's going to look great in my Dragonfly when that eventually ships sometime next year.
Yes, Rachel. That is that is the same gun that comes with the Firefly. But I don't understand, and I was kind of like, so here's what bothers me about this, is I'm like, I hate when they cross over guns, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, well, yeah, well, I hate that they cross over guns, so they can't give him the Crimson Guard gun, which is his gun. But then I'm like, wait a minute, they did give him someone else's another bad
Right.
guy's gun. They should have just given him the Crimson Guard gun. Luckily, I have more than enough of those that I can use, and he'll probably have that one. Aaron, what's your take on this figure?
I'm glad to have him in the line. He's not one of my most sought after figures and everything. I know everyone.
And Aaron is leaving right now.
I know everyone was rooting for him in the Dragonfly tiers to the point where they had to let us know that, like, look, he's not going to be in the Dragonfly, but he's going to be released later on. But I'm glad to have him. Again, they missed the mark on the gun that you just pointed out. But yeah, he's just a key character that we need. Not one of my necessarily favorites, but I'm glad to have him on the team for sure.
There is something about this figure, and I know when he was announced, Matthew, myself, and Ed, Action Figs, we were talking about it. And what's funny is that we all thought of him as a paratrooper, and he's not a paratrooper. That backpack was not a parachute, but as a kid, you're seeing a chute when really what it was, I believe, a blanket and stuff. Yep. And
Duke's backpack.
Yeah. And that's what he comes with in this one, too. Isn't that Duke's backpack?
Yeah.
Well, I know that is, but I think that it's Duke's backpack on the
on the new one, right.
But everyone saw him as a paratrooper. He's not. He's dropping down from a helicopter. He's not parachuting out of one.
He's repelling.
But as a kid, we all used it as a parachute. There's a lot of things you did as a kid that you're like, I didn't really realize that. Are you going to be? What are you going to be changing on him, Ryan, other than his gun?
The gun is about the only thing that I'm going to change on him. I like the helmet that he comes with. I may change out the sidearm. I'm not decided yet, but I think it's just the machine gun that I want to change out for something different.
Yeah, the side guns for the most part, the sidearms pretty much sit in their holster, so I don't really worry too much about it, other than maybe some of the early figures that I have an extra sidearm that I'm like, all right, you're getting rid of that dumbass looking gun. But yeah, there's something about Airborne's colors that I just always liked. It shouldn't work. The baby blue shouldn't work. But everything just flows together so good. And I was so excited when I found. And I did kind of want him in the Dragonfly.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get him this soon, to be honest. At the same time, I don't think he should have been in the Dragonfly because he's a main character.
Right.
I thought, though, I did think having like Airborne and Doc in the Dragonfly and having a stretcher that connected to the Dragonfly would have been a great tier system.
That would have been awesome.
I think they did it. I think they did it the right way, where they're giving it, and it was nice that they came out and said, "Hey, listen, you're getting them. Don't worry. Stop asking us."
I remember them saying that because all the hype was talked about it. So.
So this shot here, all I know is I'm like, when are we getting the chair? I'm not the only one that noticed the chair, right? Like,
I'll make one tonight for you.
I've got
the chair, and I'm like,
I want it to be a folding chair, not a stool.
Oh, okay.
You can get folding chairs though. That's not that hard to get.
Amazon.
And so let's just get into the complaint when they first showed them. So they said there's a dragonfly in the back. I'm not sure that's a dragonfly. It is a helicopter, obviously, but I don't know if that's a dragonfly. So people had a huge issue when he came out saying that he doesn't look Native American enough. I don't really know what that means. I never saw him as like a spirit type. I know he was Native American. All you're looking at it as the head. And I can't just walk by someone and be like, "Oh, you're Native American." Now, I don't get me wrong. I understand that some of them do have, not some of them, a lot of them have specific features. Same with us Mexicans and Italians. I understand that. But I thought people really went overboard, pissed off. And we know who a lot of the people were and like what camps they're in. Did either of you have an issue? And Ryan, I'll start with you. Did you have an issue thinking he doesn't look Native American enough?
No. No.
Did it even dawn on you when you saw him?
No.
You have that defeatist. No. No.
Look, you know, I try to stay as positive as I can. But these are $25 freaking figures. Okay? They're never going to be perfect. But I'm going to tell you, they're giving us some damn nice looking figures. And compared to what we had, I mean, they look good. He comes with a ton of stuff. I mean, bitch about shit when it's shit. When the arms are falling off or you get derpy eye on one of your Baroness figures, tear them a new one for it. But for Christ's sakes, I mean, he doesn't look Native American enough. It's the same person who says that, who then says, well, Emily's so woke. We're doing this and this and this because of it. It's like, just shut the hell up. You don't like the line. Move the hell along.
Yeah, and again, if he came out and had like Duke's complexion, I could see someone saying, listen, he's supposed to be Native American, yes, and then he has this very pale skin. Like, that's a complaint, but when you're looking at him and it's like, he has short hair. That's how I always pictured him. He's going to be wearing a helmet, where Spirit encompassed being a Native American, like, that makes sense that when you look at it, you're like, that's Native American. But if someone told you, yeah, he's Native American, you look at it, in my opinion, you go, oh, I can see exactly what you're talking about. Arron, what are your thoughts on it?
I didn't have any problem with them. If anything, watching GI Joe over the years has taught me how the different nationalities came together on that show to work together as a team, and that was something that was like influenced into me, at least, through GI Joe. And watching that, it didn't matter your skin tone, your skin color. You guys were there to make something happen and get it done. And that's one thing that I really loved about GI Joe, and makes me the person I am today, I believe.
Yeah. No, like I said, I was actually shocked when I had heard it. And we're going through this, and I figured I might as well ask about it. So, I'm really excited for this figure. I would honestly say it's probably my favorite figure that they showed. But this next figure, and he was not one of my favorites as a kid, but his look is just absolutely awesome. I wanted the purple tactician, his tactician. I wanted that one.
Yes.
Partly because I have a purple his tank. But we all knew that purple was coming with this.
I haven't seen your purple his tank. I have to take a look at that sometime.
It's in the videos. It's and again, I didn't ask for a purple one. I was over at Greg's, and Greg's like, "Do you want that?" I'm like, "I don't have room." Yes. Like, he knows that I can't say no. And the worst part is, like, Greg, you've been to my house. You know I don't have room. Yes. He's like, I have this for you. It's really big. It's probably going to bother you. Okay, why are you dropping it off? Yeah, you can have it. I'm like, thank you. Where am I going to put it? Greg, if you're listening, it doesn't mean I don't want you to do it. All right, Arron, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this figure?
I love the Techno Viper. Always have, always will. Just the fact that Cobra has a mechanic technician out on the field working on their equipment is amazing. I really like the loadout readings on him and everything. And I'm a big fan of purple anyways, just because it took me 6.5 years to achieve my purple belt that I'm in right now. So anything purple shoes, purple, whatever, I'll buy it.
I think, and Lenny put this to me is the perfect update because you don't have to update the figures like this, in my opinion, because they're already futuristic. But him putting the ideas on the gauntlets and everything to give digital readouts, this is the perfect figure for it.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
Ryan, what do you think of this figure?
I will say I like the purple. I want the Techno Viper that's going to come with the MMS more, just because I like the red and the black color scheme. But I think this purple, silver, and black, the accessories with how they've got it all set up, you can tell that Lenny and Tony really put a lot of thought into this particular figure to keep it close to the original, but again, to give them the updates to make it look modern.
Purple rain hiss.
I think, and I know what you're saying. And hey, you're going to be able to get that. You're going to be able to get that Techno Viper. I just thought, like, again, I never liked the original. I mean, he was there, he served a purpose, and I got him, after I was really playing. But this one here, like you said, like as a kid, I didn't really realize everything that he was. And then you're like, oh, this guy is the one that's fixing the stuff out there. You didn't understand what these, these pneumatic tools were because you're a kid. Like you know what a tool is, like you know a drill and a saw and a hammer, but you don't, unless your dad's doing all that type of stuff. You don't know this stuff.
Right.
Just like, again, I don't care who you are. Everyone thought that Ripper came with a jackhammer, and then when you go, wait a minute, it's the Jaws of Life, and then you're like, it's so obvious. Other than he's like this, looking like he's jackhammering something. Nobody knew that thing was a fucking was the Jaws of Life, other than people that like had dads that were firefighters and stuff.
I had him jackhammering stuff.
He was the rumble and frenzy of the Dreadnoks.
Yes.
I love this. He's kind of taunting, just taunting the people. So this, again, I think this thing just, I love the fact that he talked about how they updated, the laser rifle. I have no issues with laser rifles when they're being used properly. I didn't like the Nerf guns.
Yeah.
I thought that was a complete misstep, but that's what they were going for in their, at the beginning. But these types of figures here doing lasers on them, obviously we're going to get Flash and Sci-Fi eventually. I don't have a problem with it, especially Cobra. Cobra's supposed to be experimental. They're buying stuff from Mars who's doing all kinds of experimental stuff. So
exactly, Destro doesn't go through everything.
Yeah. I will say the hose looks a little short here in some of these shots. I hope it's not. I don't want one that's too long, but I also don't want one that's like, if you try and take pictures or pose it, it's like the hose just seems like you can't extend it, because that's not something you can just.
Lawrence, can you go back one shot? And I can't believe I'm going to be this one more, please. Show the back of him. I'm going to be this douchey guy. Isn't the backpack on upside down?
Oh boy, It sure is.
Yes.
It is.
And when I saw this, I thought the same thing. But if I remember correctly, they had it on properly when they showed it on the stream.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yep, because the tanks were on the bottom on the showing.
Yeah.
And now Dreadnok Ryan hates shooting the galaxy.
Yep, I'm playing team sport because he didn't have it correct.
But I actually did notice this when I first saw it too. I forgot to bring, but I noticed it too. But then I remember watching because I saw something before when they were showing it. I'm like, the backpack looks like it's on upside down. And then I thought, well, maybe I just had it wrong on the O-ring because I didn't play with that one. So,
but now that I'm looking at it like that, it's like, man, that doesn't look bad upside down like that. I don't know.
No, with it the other way, even though that's how it's supposed to be, it would be very top heavy. So in the real world, you would think all those tools, you would tend to fall forward or backwards way easier than if it was on the small of your back.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why the hose looks like it's too short, because it's in the wrong spot.
Possibly.
So this here, and I know Lenny talked about this when he showed the digital readout. I love this idea. This is something that one of the Cosmic Legions that I have, they did the same thing. This is so cool. To give them something, it's Tony Starkish. I mean, this is from Iron Man right here. Ryan, what do you think about like him doing stuff like this?
This is where this is when you can say this is classified now, because it's been modernized. Having like that projection style thing is exactly what Cobra would have, because they get all the technology that nobody else has.
Yep.
It's perfect. I hope for a lot of, like, for the Tele Vipers and different things like that, I hope we get to see more of this kind of techno stuff brought to these figures, just to bring them up into the future a little bit more.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like the figure was already futuristic, so the design didn't need to be changed too much. But taking that extra time to change the gauntlets to put this digital readout on it, I think it says a lot. Aaron, what do you think about it?
Oh, I agree. It's just amazing. Like what Ryan was going after there, it could definitely be used in the future. Could have been used on maybe the Alley Viper or something like that, and would have been great. Just any of the high tech Cobra soldiers. I'm sure we can find a way to even incorporate it on the Joe side at some point with like a blue spectrum that would shoot out of a watch or a Joe Pro or something like that.
Well, that's what the Joe Pro is.
Right.
And he specifically talked about the Joe Pro, and his vision was supposed to be like a digital readout, like a holographic readout where they could talk to somebody or see plans and relay it to other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's an awesome. I love that idea. I'm glad they haven't completely dropped the Joe Pro, that they've kept something. And I know people had an issue when they what are you supposed to do? Like, they don't know what they're doing with the line, because they started off futuristic and now they've gone retro. It's like, how am I supposed to put these in my lines together? It's like, did you not see the original GI Joe figures? How am I supposed to put sci-fi with my original 13? He doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
To be honest, a complete black figure called Snake Eyes that doesn't speak, he really doesn't fit into the original 13. And nor does a girl that obviously they pulled her out of jazzercising and said, hey, you know what? Listen, we need you because you have a crossbow skills. Why do we need crossbow? I don't know. We have suppressors on, weapons, but we need the crossbow.
Then you get the guys who are wearing catcher equipment and umpire equipment because they're laser, soldiers.
Hmm.
I'm so glad that I'm not the only one that thought that they were catchers. Like, they look like catcher equipment as a kid, because that's exactly what they look like.
That crisscross pattern.
Yeah. Is he the umpire or the catcher?
Yeah.
And umpires didn't wear the masks back then, so they were more of an umpire than anything. So you have the packaging, and we haven't even discussed the packaging. Let's do that here since we're at the end. What do you think about them going back to the old style packaging? Ryan,
I hate to admit this. The windowless packaging was really growing on me, because the Joe team did it right with the cool little dio shots and all the Easter eggs. And I have to admit, I like the little accessory box more so than the plastic where you got to pop this stuff out and it falls all over the place. So with all that said, this is how the line started out, and I'm happy they're going back to it. So I'm cool with it.
So, yeah, you touched on a couple things. I'm going to say it. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, you know, for my videos, I rip apart the Hasbro packaging any chance I get because I'm so mad that they changed it so many times. But I'm happy with the way they're going now. But again, like I'm gonna miss the black and white cardboard cutout. I wish that could have been like in the back, like for the backing of this packaging, and then we could see that through the window. I'm gonna miss the black and white cutouts. That's one of the things that I truly loved about the packaging that we had last.
So, what I'm going to say about this is I'm with Ryan. I like the windowless packaging. It was bad because people didn't even have to try and swap the figure. They knew they could just return it. No one's going to look at it. And I understand that. I think it's better to have a window so you can see the figure, obviously. I don't think they needed to go back to the same design that they had back then. Now, I understand the back is different and everything, and I like that. And it doesn't look like they're going to be using a different artist for every figure, which I absolutely hated. But I think they could have done a smaller window. I'm going to disagree with you, Ryan. I liked the box that everything came out really easily, but Matthew has said to me numerous times, the more and more I think I'm going to agree. I think the plastic is going to hold the weapons in shape much better than that box did. But I wish they had the coffin. I wish they could have still put the coffin in, shown the figure sitting in that coffin. It would have looked awesome.
The only pushback I'm going to say on that though is these soft weapons are because of the factory that they're at right now, and that's production issue.
Okay, so
yeah,
so the really soft weapons, you're absolutely right. But there's a lot of other weapons that they just sit in there and they start to warp and stuff. And I just think the plastic, yeah, you're right. The ones that are super soft, it doesn't matter because you know what, they're just gonna slide out anyway because you can do whatever you want with them. But you know what, I have the Deadpool that fell out. Like this Deadpool, as awesome as he is, this gun, it's a piece of rubber. I mean, it's not plastic; it's rubber. And the only reason why it stays in shape is because I have him holding it in a shape. But I wish they would have said, "Hey, you know what? We don't have to go back to the original packaging, like design here. We're going to do a new one. We're going to keep the coffin because people like it." I hated the box, the accessory box. I know Bobby. I said it in every review. I know Bobby would say it in every review. It's upside down at points. It's just too big. I wish they would have made them lockers. Like make it lockers so I can use it as a display. I thought that would have looked actually pretty cool. I even mentioned that to Lenny. There were certain things that were really nice in plastic free that I don't think that they had to do away with it. That coffin was awesome, and everyone said like that black and white. That was absolutely awesome. So you do have the back, and I am glad that they're sticking with what we were getting on the front of the box. But now it's smaller, and it doesn't look as nice. Do you guys agree with that? It just doesn't have the same feel.
I do agree, yeah.
But you did have to do away with what the classifieds had before because they kept adding new figures, and it's like you're eventually going to have too many in here.
Exactly.
You can't get every single figure. But I love this. I love the Easter eggs. And again, we'll still get them, but it's just not going to be the same. And again, this is first world adult toy collecting problems. So, I hope we all have. I hope no one has worse problems than this, but I'm sure we all do.
One gripe I do have though. Hasbro fixed the damn website. So if you scan that stupid QR code, it takes you to the frickin' file card for these figures. And you can actually look up and see what exactly their skills are. Because we don't have that anymore.
And you know what? Lenny mentioned something about having their attributes on it. And I just remember, like, on the live stream, and I'm thinking, like, nobody knows what they are.
Right.
It doesn't lead you anywhere. And I point that out in every single, I probably should check it. I probably shouldn't continue to say that it leads you nowhere Okay, maybe it does now. And I understand the whole 5-language file card thing, but there is no reason why each QR code shouldn't lead back to a file card. For the most part, the file cards are already written.
Yeah.
You
I think
you might have to change a little bit, but the story's already there.
yeah.
So there's no reason why they shouldn't have that. Especially with the budget now. They have a bigger budget. They should be able to hire someone and go, hey, we need to fix some of these, but it's already written there for you. Larry
Yeah.
already did them all for you. Hey, they've all been created. Rachel says here, I welcome the window back. Case in point, I saw a Hawk figure on the shelf and his tape had been cut. I left him on the peg, picked up another one with intact tape. No, listen, I understand the reason for it. I do, and I think that it's better because, unfortunately, go back and watch my live stream. I went all off on him because listen, if you are swapping figures and taking one back, you're just a piece of shit. There's no other way to put it. You're a piece of shit. Don't buy a $25 figure or anything and take it back, especially a kid toy or anything, knowing that someone's going to get screwed. But again, that's the type of person you are.
That's pretty low.
I can't change you. That's the type of person you are. I don't want you here. All right, so let's look at what he comes with. And I'll let you guys go to sleep.
You're good, Lawrence.
I love the pistol. I like that pistol. I just think it looks really cool. It does look futuristic. What do you guys think? Aaron, I'll let you start.
I'm totally down with the pneumatic tools that they provided. Of course, going off the old vintage style. I love that laser rifle. It looks very on point with that flat nose that we've had in the past. So I have no complaints with this figure. In fact, because I know you're a more of a Joe N fan, but I'm more of a Cobra fan. I just always appealed to Cobra. Not saying I'm a bad guy or anything, but I just like the way they look, and this was one of my favorite characters released.
I've always been a more Cobra fan.
Oh, have you? Okay, I thought you were. I thought
growing up, my buddy and I, there were times that we would just play Cobra.
Yes,
we had a few Joes that were just they were captive.
Oh yeah, Joe was always hemmed up on my playtime.
Yeah, Cobra always had the cooler things. I think as I've gotten older, I've started to like Joe a lot more. Just because you start looking and going, oh, some of these things weren't that bad. They were pretty cool. Yes. Ryan, what do you think?
I love this figure as a kid. He reminded me of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica.
Tony mentioned that earlier in the chat.
And the tools that he comes with. I mean, he's a technician, and he looks like he can hold his own. So, look, this is one of these troop builders that that we're going to see pictures with, guys having like 30 of these or something, these huge Cobra Legions. I think if the Joe team and Hasbro are smart, each of your wave needs to have one troop builder, and that you have enough that people can buy the quantities that they want, and the line will continue to do good.
Yeah. And so the Pop Blender here says, I'm good with the windows. The coffin looked and felt cheap. All the cardboard was too much for me, just my opinion. No, and that's fine. And like I said, I love the presentation when you open it up. The black, there is something about the black and white on some of these figures that just, it popped. And again, I think it was Helix that I said is like, this is by far the best. And I don't know you're going to be able to top it. And then there was another one that came out, and I went, this one's pretty close. But I think Helix, like when you took away the colors in her hair and you gave it black and white, it just looked really good. And I would love to see just like a whole poster art of all the class of. I see. The problem is like I hated Stalker. Like I don't want that art. It was awful. See, I don't tear apart my boxes. I have all my boxes. I have all the boxes other than I think one or two figures.
Yeah, I got them all pinned up behind me there on the foam board.
Yeah, but yours are cut up. Mine are.
Yes.
taking up space.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel says it would be funny if the red readout was just spam email. BOGO 50% off at Subway. Eat fresh. See, that type of stuff. I love that type of stuff. I think it's so funny.
That is funny,
When
Rachel.
you think about stuff like that, and as adults, we can laugh at that type of stuff and think like this is something that would be really cool. Because let's be honest, man. Like, if you're mainframe, you're gonna be hacking in and sending like spam fucking email to them.
Yeah, that's his delay from Hasbro about his tanks. They're not coming till later on.
Look, Shipwreck would get busted looking at porn or revenge porn.
Yeah.
Have some pin type girls on the meter there.
No, that's awesome.
From my
Like I said,
that readout's going to be like, oh, Jesus, another order in for this. Yeah, we're going to tell them it's going to take about 3 weeks, because, we're union and we don't have to do that. I want the Techno Vipers just to be like that skill trade lazy sucker that's going to be like, yeah, we'll fix that in about a week and a half. You piss us off.
My question is, can Techno Viper, can he hack into DHL and tell them not to leave it in that Ohio city for like 4 days? Like, once it goes out DHL, rather than go to Stowe, Ohio, which is past Michigan, just cruise up 94, get into Grand Rapids, and then dispatch from there. That's what I want. That's what I need, because you order from BBTS and you do the $4. If the box is too small, it's going to Stowe. But this is funny. All right, my kid shouldn't be listening. I ordered something for him. I ordered him a wallet, and it went out DHL, and I was like, "Oh, we'll see." And I had told, I wish Bobby was still here, because I said something to Bobby. I go, "Here's something funny. I ordered this Ridge wallet for my son for Christmas, and it went out DHL. It's been sitting in Stowe, Ohio for like 3 days."
Oh wow!
Now I'm Dreadnok Ryan. I'm sure you've ordered from BBTS and you know where Stowe, Ohio is, and you've seen it go out. And understand
it goes south of us to go north.
Yes, it goes right past us all the way to almost all the way to Pennsylvania, and then stays there, and then it has to come back and then go north.
Yep.
Everything's coming from Wisconsin. It literally, like, they're cruising down and they're like, "Hey, look, I could just cruise on in this road, just head out to Grand Rapids, which is in Michigan." But no, they're like, "I'm gonna cruise through Ohio, go past Michigan, and then I'm just gonna stay there." That's why I'm like, there's got to be like a toy resort there. But then when the wallet got stuck there, I'm like, fucking DHL, man. Like, goddamn, I hate that fucking service.
So I pay for the Pulse membership.
So do I.
Because when you do the HasLabs, it pays. Free shipping pays for it. It ships. All my stuff seems to come out of Illinois, and I have it the next day. I'll get the shipping notice, and it's like, "Oh, it'll be delivered the next day." I'm like, "Okay, I'll keep ordering from Pulse."
So, Pulse is hit or miss at times. Lately, it has been super fast, and you and I both know, because there's someone that was really upset with us because we got stuff before. But a while back, I didn't realize I don't know if they still do. They had 3 warehouses. They had one, I think, in Atlanta, one in Pennsylvania, and then one, I think, in Portland. And I was waiting on the Stinger, and I called them. I'm like, "I don't want to be that person, but it's been a week since you charged me." I'm like, I haven't even got like a shipping notice or anything, And she looked it up and she's like, "It all depends on where it's coming out of." She's like, "Well, this one's coming out of," I think she said Portland. It was somewhere over there on the West Coast. And I was like, "I thought you guys only had one warehouse." And she's like, "No, we have 3 different warehouses." So, but I think a lot of stuff looks like it's coming out of. Is it coming out of Chicago now? Ryan?
It's one of the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
it's
they must have a
also
new
in Illinois.
warehouse.
Yeah.
And you're right, that comes fast.
And which makes sense because O'Hare is a big destination airport for stuff coming out of China. So
Yeah.
and that could be why it's coming there. But it's just funny the last few, it's like bam, I get them the next day. I'm like, okay, well, this is nice.
Yeah, I admit, like the stuff other than the Hiss tank, but that's coming out of
Chino.
Yeah. We all fucking know Chino right now.
Yeah.
And the exact same thing with the fucking Sky Striker.
Uh,
Biggie Moisty says, I live in British Columbia, ordered something from California, and it was sent to Toronto, then to BC. Here, I'm gonna beat you this. I'm not gonna beat you ever. So there's a skate shop down the street in Mount Clemens. I live in Mount Clemens. Skate shop down the street. It is literally right next to the post office. I ordered some cheap pads for my kids, right? And the skate shop, they do a lot of eBay and they have their own website. They do a lot of shipping. So I'm like, all right, I'll just order it. Get there in a couple of days, right? Boom, I order it. I see the tracking number go right away. And then I watch it go down to, it goes to the mail, and then it goes down to Oak Park, which is probably 25, 30 minutes for me. Now, mind you, you're already at the post office that it's going to go to. So I'm like, well, that's really stupid. And then I'm watching the tracking. And I'm like, why the fuck is it in Ohio? It goes down to Ohio to turn around, go back up to Oak Park, then go to Mount Clemens to be distributed to me. I honestly could skateboard there if I really wanted to. It'd take me, probably a half hour to skate there, maybe 45 minutes. But it is that close that I could, that I could get there. And I remember saying something like, oh, dude, you could just contact us and say, hey, I bought something. I'm going to swing by and grab it. But I'm like, how the hell do you drop this off at, and again, it's not on them. How do you drop this off over at Mount Clemens here, the post office, and somehow it ends on Oak Park? All right, I get it. But then it continues on down to Ohio, and then back to Oak Park, then to Mount Clemens, and it's like, that's where you started. You fucking started. So I understand, man. It's just stupid. Like, oh, I don't understand. I think it was Bobby that I said, like for DHL, I would love just to sit down, just for my own curiosity's sake, and go, explain to me the logistics of this. DHL, you literally take it from BBTS and then you drop it off at the post office. You're that guy in Office Space that's good with people that takes the blueprints from the guys dropping it off to the other guys. Like, that's all you do. Like, how? And BBTS, explain to me, how does this, like, where are you saving money?
Because they're using a shipper for all of their stuff. It's like a big mail room. So they'll ship all of that stuff out to the mail room, and then they get a big bulk discounted rate, and that's how it gets shipped out to you.
But I was just like, you're adding a middleman, and never once has anyone ever said, you know what will cost down? A middleman.
Yeah.
But it's probably more so they can't get the contracted rate for shipping because they don't do enough volume. So, but still, it's a pain in the ass. Hey, I had a shipment.
Why the fuck is it in Ohio?
I had a shipment that went to Lansing, and instead of them sending it to Flint, they sent it to Grand Rapids. This is USPS, okay? Goes to Grand Rapids, then down to Pontiac. From Pontiac, it goes to Flint. From Flint, it goes to Burton, and then it goes to my house. And I'm like, what the? And this was from some company in Michigan. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
No, for people that don't know, Grand Rapids is nowhere near any of these places. It is. It's not almost to Ohio. It's not almost to Chicago. It's on the way to Chicago. It's roughly 3 hours from Detroit. 2.5, 3 hours. But it's further from you, right?
Yeah. Lansing is 45 minutes.
Yep.
So they send it basically. So Lansing is almost in the middle of Michigan. They send it to the West Coast. And then from the West Coast, they send it down to the Southeast, which is where Pontiac is, for it to go north and then to come over to me instead of just sending it to the frickin' Burton post office where it should have went the whole time. USPS.
Again, it makes no sense. And I've mentioned numerous times on my stream, I live closer to Canada than Ohio.
Yeah.
So the closest state that I am to is Canada, A. And you say Canada A because they do. When you live close to the crazy Canadians, you realize how much they say. Hey, where you from, A? What? You from the States, A? I'm from a state, but not from all 50 of them. Anyway, 3 hours. Thank you guys very much.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, thank you to Bobby B also. If you're not following these guys, all their links are in the description below. Use it. Help everyone grow. Like, honest to God, like I like doing these. I can't do them too much because I can't sit too much in front of this damn thing. I already spent too much time, but it was great having Ryan on. Like, I know you and I have talked. Ryan's going to be on. He's going to be my next Thursday with a friend in 2 weeks.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. Arron, you jumped in.
Thanks for having me. It was nice meeting you, Ryan. Bobby B.
You too, sir.
And
I subscribe to your channel, so I look forward to watching some of your videos.
I'm going to hit you up as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, and like I said, 43 used to watching. Like I said, I know where my channel is. I know that I'm growing. And if I see a startup guy, someone starting new, and they're doing something good, I'll make a comment. And Arron said he went and followed me after I made the comment, and next thing I know, he's in the chat.
It's awesome.
He becomes
I'm really
a member.
starstruck being on this because you guys are just idols to me. So,
but no, it's true. Like, again, you see a lot of people that once they start getting bigger, or a lot of people that once they're bigger than someone, they feel like they can't gain anything from them. And it's kind of like, well, you know what? We were all small at one time.
Yeah.
And I enjoy talking to the smaller channels more than a lot of the bigger ones. But at the same time, I like, you talk to the bigger ones, that they help get eyes on you. Yeah. At the same time, when you start to become a bigger channel, it's like, hey, you know what? I can help other people get eyes on other people, on you guys. And I'm only going to ask people on that I think that are doing a good job.
It's good to have a strong community of toy collectors.
Yeah, and there's just so many people, they don't want it. They want to see themselves grow, and they're going to step on toes. They want everyone else to do the work for them, and it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap it up. Arron, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at Arron the Toy Enhancer on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at Barnum Arron. And you can also find me on Facebook. Same, Arron the Toy Enhancer. And
Ryan?
Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. Instagram, it's Dreadnok Ryan. Stop by. It's GI Joe Classified, my sweet spot from Gridiron. So it's just all fun. I don't play a lot of the team sports, so it's just more, talking about stuff we like. If I don't like something, I don't talk about it. So that's how I roll.
All right, well, we're going to get out. If you guys want to stick around and talk afterwards, you guys can. If not, I understand. Everyone have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys all on Monday. I have no idea what the topic is. Take care.